Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back.
What
I
up?
am Tim,
And I'm Adam.
and
I'm Lydia.
Lydia's invisible
Lady.
because we don't have a camera for
Yeah.
her. But she speaks from behind the curtain.
Sometimes.
How's it going, everybody? Oh, I'm chilling. We got F's, R's, L's. The chat is lighting up. Welcome to the
Yes.
show. We're going to talk about a
Alphabet
bunch of
people.
stuff.
I'll take
We've
it.
So apparently there's this viral story, and I commented on it before. I thought it was legit. Apparently it's not. Where there's this video of this nurse, and she's crying, and she's like, "They wouldn't let me wear a mask. They're putting us." She says, "We are not prepared," or something. You know, to quote Illidan from Burning Crusade, if you get the reference. And apparently the video is viral. It's got 24,000 retweets.
8 million views. 8.6 it says.
8.63 million views of this crying nurse.
That's a lot.
And the first response to it is from a conservative, a Trump supporter, saying, "In 2 months, this will be the Jussie Smollett 2.0." And then below that is like, "It took only 1 day.
Seriously.
Turns out it was a hoax." I don't know if it was CBS or this woman, because the woman apparently fessed up to it right away.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, we got the story. We're gonna get into. We have the story about apparently there's two, I guess, like intersectionalist professors who are scared that the coronavirus is gonna make people fat phobic or something. Is that what it is?
Yep,
Fat
that's
phobia.
it.
Well, because it's a major risk factor for COVID deaths is obesity, and so these are the people that for years have been cheering people on. And then we got this is crazy. Jack Dorsey's giving up just about 30% of his net worth,
It's amazing.
$1 billion.
I
for corona
you
relief.
told me this, and I still am having a hard time believing it because
No, I believe it.
it was such an unexpected thing to happen, but that's what it has to happen. They're the ones who have all the wealth, and if he's going to do that, that's amazing.
There's a lot of complicated factors behind this. This could damage the value of his stock
True.
because it's not cash. However, people rag on Jack Dorsey all the time. I actually met the guys. Most people probably know. And he is a super hippie. He gave max contributions to like Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang. I am not surprised. He's like, yeah, I'll give $1 billion in net worth to COVID relief.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he's a super hippie guy. And a lot of people constantly tag him on Twitter when something goes wrong.
Okay.
And I always tell people, I'm telling you, man, he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
He left a long time ago. They fired him. I'm pretty sure he has no power. It's like a mascot.
Yeah.
They just pretend like he's there. So, and then I guess if we get around to it, we can rag on Birds of Prey again. Apparently the woman who directed it or whatever is like making excuses for why the movie was awful.
I mean, I love ragging on that movie.
Yeah, man, this
I'd go
We'll
rag
make it-
on that movie.
yeah,
a
we'll
little
make it
more.
a-
Why not?
Special pastime. All right, so we'll jump to the first story. However, if you have not already, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hop in the super chat because we will read your comments.
And please share.
Oh yeah, share this.
Yes.
Please share.
Go tell everybody. You're like, guys, this is the best show ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got this guy Tim and Soy Jesus and Lydia. Man, it's like hanging out with my buddies. And then everyone will come in, and then we'll get a million viewers.
Friends, it'll be awesome.
And then maybe one day we'll displace the shows like Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel.
Ooh, yeah.
They're doing that. You see that thing like One World at Home or something?
Yeah. It feels like everyone's trying to copy our style, man.
Cringe.
Oh,
dude.
right?
It's so
We did it first. No, we didn't. But
no, but it really
Still.
is. It really is cringy listening to these celebrities try to do the new generation of media. Because like I've been doing social media for almost a decade now, and you've got a ton of people that have developed this methodology using new technologies, and they've been on TV doing this archaic old thing. And now that we're all trapped at home, seeing like Stephen Colbert tried to do an at-home thing,
yeah.
so pathetic. It's like, and I'm looking at all these high-profile personalities for like MSNBC,
Yeah.
and it's mind-boggling to me. None of them have any capability of high-definition video or sound in their houses.
Yeah.
Because like even your phone can do it.
I know.
That's how bad they are at this.
Well, what is it? Good news. What is John Krasinski's thing?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
some good news. That's great.
It's good quality and stuff.
I mean, it's enough that it's not about quality. It's
Right.
He's doing a good show. It's not. It's entertaining. It's like. It's kind of like what we do,
It's
but a little bit more. He's just bringing in good news from any source
Oh,
that
that's great.
people give to him, and
right,
it's
right,
cool.
right. But
I like
it's
that.
not just about, like camera or sound quality,
Right.
which of course because of course YouTubers aren't known for their quality.
True.
I mean like quality of conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just really weird to watch that. Colbert did this thing in his backyard by his fire pit, and I'm like, you are not. Okay, so you have
No.
all of these YouTubers, like me, for instance, and it's like sitting in a room talking to the camera,
Right.
and there's something about it where it's like, it works. watching him do it from his backyard, it's like clear he doesn't know how to be relatable. Like when you're watching somebody at home talk about stuff, then you this is like a relatable thing there. It's like you're in your room, I'm
you're
hanging
seeing
out.
the raw them as opposed to he's got probably a room full of writers.
Right.
You know, that they prep for every single show the entire day. They're talking about different things. They're, cluing him in on stuff. And then, boom, he does the show. So he doesn't have that now. So you really are seeing the raw celebrities as they are.
Yep.
They're the real them.
So what ends up happening is you have someone like Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel sitting at home, and like Trevor Noah, and they're trying to do an at-home thing to the camera like a YouTube with all these writers. And it's like, when you watch them on TV, it's plastic, but it's shiny plastic.
Shiny.
Yeah.
When
New
you watch
toy.
when you watch people on YouTube at home, you're watching like an authentic person talking about how they feel about things.
Yeah.
And it's authentic. It's not super high quality stuff.
Right.
Now take the worst of both of those things, mash them together, and that's what you get with like Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert and these weird shows they're doing.
Yeah, the luster is gone.
Right.
It's like,
and so now it's
what's
just
different
like
about this?
twisted, mangled, burnt Legos laying on the ground, and you're like,
Ooh.
what is that?
And what makes it worse is they really are trying. It's like, instead of it feeling like a natural, like you and I having conversations, it's like we've been having conversations like this for years and years
Right.
now. So it's no thing for you
Yeah,
and
we
me to
just
just
talk.
continue talking about stuff, but watching them, it really feels like they're making an effort to talk, and instead of it flowing and being like
I
that
bet-
shiny TV thing,
I bet they could barely hold a conversation.
Yeah.
I bet you sitting there and they'd be like, I don't know.
Well, they don't have to.
Yeah.
They
Right.
can get away with saying whatever they want at a camera, and they don't have to carry on a conversation.
Yep. Shall we go to our first story?
Oh, we're not
Yes.
even in a story yet.
No, we're not. We're just
Just
making
rolling.
fun
See,
of mainstream media.
See how much fun we have just talking?
Hey, man.
In tears, a nurse says she quit her job after she was asked to work in a coronavirus ICU without a face mask. America is not prepared, and nurses are not being protected. When this story first came out, I took it seriously. I was like, man, it's worrisome.
Yeah.
When you get nurses and doctors quitting, and there are real nurses quitting, not this,
Yeah.
fake whatever.
Right.
Then, things start to fall apart. But there is good news. They're saying that for New York, we're 9 days away from the peak, in which case things start chilling out.
Oh, that's nice.
They're saying like we might start easing up on restrictions. We might actually get the restrictions lifted much sooner than everyone realized. So it's good news for now.
Yeah.
But just because they're seeing like the amount of daily deaths go down
Yeah.
in New York doesn't mean it's over. If they lift restrictions, then 2 weeks from now it'll spike again.
Yep.
So Dr. Fauci is saying maybe this is the new normal until we have a vaccine.
Or like you were saying earlier about like the deaths that they're finding in like apartments aren't even
Don't
being
even get me
counted.
started, man.
So what is the real death toll?
What's really annoying to me is there are a lot of people who are. It's clear what they're trying to insinuate, casting doubt upon what's going on. Like, look, I've done this when we talked about the paddleboarding guy and the beach who got arrested.
Right.
And that expert who said that the virus was in the water and then kicking up into the air or whatever. It's like,
Oh, that was
shut
an expert
up.
that said that?
Yeah, some marine
Oh, I
biologist
didn't catch
or something.
that
So
part.
stupid.
Yeah.
There's literally billions of viral particles bouncing up in the air. She's like, I wouldn't go to the beach if you paid me $1 million. Oh, shut up.
There's probably billions of viruses in the water anyway.
There are, yeah.
All the
But
time.
Yeah.
It's not even about that. It's like, listen, if you don't want people to go to the beach, just be honest about it.
Right.
And then tell them to go home if they show up anyway.
Yeah.
But to make up these ridiculous stories.
Yeah.
So Candace Owens, who is like a big Trump personality, has been tweeting a bunch of things. And one of the things she tweeted was a story from the New York Times that said, where has the heart attack and stroke victims gone?
Right.
And then she tweeted, doctors around the world are wondering what's happening to these patients.
Yeah.
And flu and pneumonia deaths have dropped off. The insinuation that people were making, I'm going to avoid accusing her directly, but the people in the comments were saying, like we're replying to her tweets, that these doctors are taking heart attack deaths and calling them coronavirus. Because there are these stories popping up where it's like my grandma in Italy, we've talked about
all
it.
those stories, yeah.
And there are a few stories that people have highlighted. There was a story of an infant who was in the hospital for some kind of a procedure for a month, like a very serious,
Yeah.
and then contracted COVID and died. And so people are questioning why that was labeled as a COVID death. I think it's fair. I just, like they've said over and over again, it's underlying conditions, which, so it's a contributing factor. There are some people who are sick who would probably survive, might get it, might not live.
Right.
And so they're labeling it as COVID death. But the other thing is, what people don't realize, people in New York and all over are dying of coronavirus and not being tested.
Yep.
And they're not being labeled coronavirus.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't make sense.
take them both, right? If you think they're overcounting some things, they're definitely undercounting other things.
Right.
So they're saying in New York that if they find a DOA, like if they get a call for a wellness check and there's someone dead and they can't determine the cause of death, they don't put it down as coronavirus. So the city is concerned they're undercounting,
Right.
the deaths.
Actual deaths, yeah.
Right. Well, let's take a look at this nurse right here.
Right.
So I love this because we have this tweet, and just below it, we have Melissa A. 2 months from now, we will find out this Jussie Smollett 2.0 fake. She got 943 retweets on April 5th. Lo and behold, on April 6th, Imaris Vera, the nurse in the video, clarified her experience on Monday in a tweet, quote, "We were each assigned one N95 per one COVID patient's room, but was not allowed to wear it outside the room, wear our own N95 masks around the nurse's station or halls, which I came prepared with." Well, all of a sudden,
that is not what she said when she was crying.
all of a sudden, the
At
story
all.
is very different.
Doesn't
Yeah.
sound bad at all.
Well, see what
totally
she did.
different.
She omitted that they actually gave her a mask and said, "Use this approved mask we have for you."
Right.
And she was like, "I brought protection, and they wouldn't let me wear it." Was it like a Mickey Mouse mask or something? Was it like a MAGA mask? Like,
Right. But she said right there that she used her own mask when she's in the nurse's hall, but when you go into the room with the COVID patient, you use the COVID mask that they gave you.
Right.
I mean, look-
cross contamination.
So
Well,
that's why
so-
she was crying?
But here, I wonder if it's the fault of the media or her because she admitted to it.
Okay.
Was
What,
it-
the next day?
Yeah.
Listening to
Bernie,
her crying and what she was saying has nothing to do with the
That's
media.
true. Yep, that's a good point.
She
She's being
she
very
didn't tell the
manipulative.
truth.
And
Yeah.
not
Right
only
there.
that, but she had quit, apparently taking like a hiatus
Okay.
to be an Instagram model or something. At least that's the story that's been going around.
A influencer,
Yes.
as they're known.
I saw some pictures.
And then like a day or
Those
two,
people crack me up.
oh man.
and then she comes back for like a day and then quits right away. And
Oh,
so
man.
everyone's calling, BS on this. They
She's
say,
like, "Ooh, I can get some real big hits,
Yeah,
some
man.
likes."
Yeah, I don't like
but
that.
here's what's funny about the media. CBS just adds a little tag to the bottom of the tweet, which no one will see.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's like sufficient for them to say they corrected it.
they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever. We
And then-
acknowledged it."
What ends up happening is it's conservative sites that pick it up and start sharing it. So now there's this really funny study that I've shared and progressives really hate it. It shows that people on the left, liberals, typically only get their news from liberal sources. Moderates take about 60% liberal sources, about 30 to 40% conservative sources.
Okay.
And conservatives, it's inverted, about 70% conservative and 30% liberal.
Yeah.
Conservatives do read left-wing news sites and liberal news sources.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've seen the fake news, then they see the correction, and they go, there it is. The left doesn't. They see the fake news, and then they walk away.
Yep.
And they never learn the truth.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Now I can go complain to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you saw what I was talking about earlier today with Trump owning a stake in that pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, right.
Man, this is so
Like $90 or something.
$99.
$99.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it could potentially be higher than that.
Sure.
Like Market Watch did a fair take saying, well, actually, let's I'll give you the context. I wake up this morning and I'm scrolling down the Twitters and I pull up the Reddits, and then they're over on good old r/politics, which is supposed to be a place for normal discourse. The top post: Donald Trump owns stake in pharmaceutical company that manufactures hydroxychloroquine. And so in the comments, they're all like, I knew it. The Daily Beast says, there it is.
There it is.
It's like, we got him, boys. Busted. Now we know why Trump is promoting this drug. And then sure enough, even never Trumper George Conway, like he hates Trump,
Yeah.
tweeted like, oh, come on. It's a minority stake through a mutual fund. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the media has become so desperate with their lies, trying to, push back on whatever they can. Donald Trump's family has multiple trusts. One of them has a stake in a mutual fund,
Okay.
which has 3.3% holdings in a company called like Sanofi or something. Which
So it's like a stake of a stake. It's not even
right.
like
Yeah.
an actual
right.
stake in
That's
that
why they were
company.
saying it might be like it could be as low as $99. Like,
Cool.
whoa, that's Trump's big play, billionaire Donald Trump.
Ooh.
Impeachment.
Yes.
Yep.
Again.
People are already calling for it.
I know they
So-
already were.
I'm glad to see. So anyway, it's basically a mutual fund has a stake in this company. It's like 3%. And so there are other funds that Trump does have, which means his stake could be a bit higher, maybe like $1,500. It's like, so what? Is that a joke? Like Trump invested $1,000 in this company and then went on TV and promoted it. Why? So he can get a 10% return and make $100?
Ooh.
It's ridiculous. But This is why I wonder if it's the media's fault for not vetting this.
Yeah.
They see a viral Instagram post and they're like, run it. And it's like, do you know who she is? Who cares?
Who
Is
cares?
she
we'll get
actually-
a lot of hits.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what they
fixing
want.
posts,
You
yeah.
want to know what the really messed up thing about media is?
I guess.
If I put out a video right now that was titled like proof Hillary Clinton is a lizard and turns into a lizard on camera, and it got 1 million views,
Yeah.
I make money on that 1 million views.
Okay.
And then the next day I make a video saying, my bad, I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
It gets 30,000 views. I make money on that 30,000 views. Not only do they make money on the lie, they make money on the retraction. So they're totally incentivized to do this.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Now, like I was saying, you know, these like lefty types they'll watch CBS and they'll walk away. So these people are now actually believing. I'm willing to bet. You go talk to any one of your friends who doesn't really pay attention. They're going to be like, didn't Trump like own the company that was making that drug? And you're going to be like,
quite.
ugh.
Yeah.
This again. So
And
tiring.
that's what I deal with every day.
Yeah. It's
And
just
then-
to get the likes.
Well, it's money.
Well, the likes equal money.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, when Huffington Post wrote about it, they get, 150, 500,000 shares or views or whatever on the article.
Yeah.
They made the money already. Then a day later, they can just put correction. The story was fake. It doesn't matter. They made the money. They don't got to give it back. Boom. So here's what ends up happening. I do these videos where I'm like, that's not true. Trump doesn't own the stake. And then they're like, why are you defending Trump? It's like, no, I'm not defending Trump. I'm criticizing the media for lying.
Yep.
There's a really funny skit called Stop Making Me Defend Trump. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I think you told me about it.
Yeah.
though.
You've
It's from
seen
a
it.
We the Internet TV.
Oh, yeah.
So they can look it up. It's really good.
Yeah. It's like a guy, he's like in an office.
Okay.
And these two people are saying insane things about Trump. And he's like, he turns around, he's like, I don't think that's true. And they're like, why are you defending Trump, bro? You a Trump supporter? He's like, no, I just don't think that's true. And they're like, yo, bigot. Blah. They start yelling at him. Like, that's how it goes.
It's how it feels.
Yeah. So
crazy.
the funny thing is too, like CBS. Here's why I think it's CBS's fault. I don't trust them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I don't trust them either.
they're given the opportunity to verify this woman and
Yeah.
fact check whether or not she's telling the truth.
Before they
Right.
run a
Instead,
news
they're just
article
like,
about it.
run it.
Like,
Story's already
"Oh,
up there.
Look, she's crying. That's juicy. We'll get lots of hits.
Yup.
Run it.
Oh, the poor nurse.
Like, God.
But they recently used footage from an Italian hospital claiming it was New York.
Right.
Yeah, check this
So,
out.
so silly.
I mean, many of you have probably already seen this because it was just over a week ago.
Yep.
How do they think they're going to get away with this? You know, I guess too many people. It's funny when they rag on Fox News for having like old viewers, because Fox News actually has more key demographic viewers than the other networks like CBS, MSN, like MSNBC and CNN.
Okay.
And so I think what's really happening is these networks that have older viewers, and it does to a decent extent include Fox News, they're never going to correct this on air. CBS issues like a tiny like note on their website. Oops.
Or on their the Twitter message, like you
Yeah.
said, it's
Yeah.
like, we're good. We're covered.
Yep.
That should do it.
Man,
You know?
it's crazy when I was at Walgreens, and the lady at the cashier, we were walking up, and they have all the social distancing stuff everywhere, and she said something that was just so insane about like Trump and his son, and she's like, well, the president's doing these things, and I'm like, ugh. Like it would take me so long to unwind all of these
but
lies.
what spawned the comment? What like, did she just like blurt it out?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
You walked up. Oh, hello.
Yeah,
The
so-
president's doing this. Like seriously?
Yes. So it's
God, why?
so they're doing the social distancing stuff.
Uh huh.
And then it started with something like they had hand sanitizer.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, you got some hand sanitizer? And she's like, yep, well, we got to do what we can because unlike, the president, something like that. I'm serious. And I'm just like, uh-huh. And then it wasn't exactly that direct, but
Excuse me, I've already checked out of this conversation. I would like to pay for my goods.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Like, get outta here.
I just want Ben and Jerry's. It's this chocolate in the middle, and I don't want to talk about this right now. I
Yeah.
talk about this all day. I want to go home. But no,
Let me
it wasn't.
go.
It wasn't that quick. But it was like within the span of 30 seconds, it went from like.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's that crazy that we're talking about coronavirus, the pandemic, all the things they're doing, and the president comes up.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly what she said, but I was just like, oh, that is just, it's like lie layered upon lie.
You know what it is? It's thirst. It's people being thirsty. It's gross. I can't stand it. It's like all I see is just all these thirsty people, like the influencers. They're just thirsty for attention. The media thirsty for that money.
Really makes me want to
the
quit.
CEOs are thirsty for that profit.
Yeah, man.
Thirsty for attention. The people who are addicted to attention. It's like, man, y'all got to calm down and learn what it is to be human again.
Yeah,
I've
Because they're
said
running
this.
rampant.
When I am excited about getting banned from all social platforms. Finally, just break the chain. Let me get in my van and go
Let me
fishing,
go.
man. Yeah, let me leave.
Down by the river?
Down
Yeah,
by the
man.
river, in the van, get a dog or something, and just, man. I see these photos of these van life influencers.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be able to take the show on the road, but it's really not possible, and that's why we ended up doing this instead.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you want to come and ban me off this? I hate.
Hold on. Sorry. Please don't ban us.
Yeah, no, please don't ban us.
I really like
I
my
like the
job.
show.
and,
I think it's fun.
It's great. So, yeah. Hey,
I'm,
don't listen to him.
Yeah, really.
No,
don't.
it's like for me, it's not about. It's really funny when they're like, "Oh, all Tim wants is attention and all this stuff." It's like, no, it's just.
Please no.
It's a passion thing. It's an obligation thing. It's like I see something and I'm like, I really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's so much I want to talk about.
Yeah, you vent like nobody else.
Yeah, because I'm reading all
You're a
this stuff.
champion venter.
Right.
And it's enlightening, actually,
But-
listening to your opinions on things, because I'm a logical based person, so I respect logic a lot, and you are very logical. So when you analyze the news and the media and the things that are going on, it makes sense from a logic standpoint, and I appreciate that a lot.
I think one
And
thing.
I'm sure that's why people like watching you too.
But
For that exact reason.
What I think a lot
So-
of people don't realize as well is that I don't see me doing the stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I read the news and I feel this way and then I complain about it. But then
But it's accurate though, for the most part.
Well, I don't watch Hannity, and I don't watch for the most part Rachel. I watch Hannity periodically for
Yeah.
relevant things. I watch Rachel Maddow periodically for relevant things.
Okay.
And so I just see them and I talk about what I like or don't like. But there are a lot of people who actually watch a lot of it, and
Yeah.
then when I see comments from people saying like, "Oh, Tim, you do it better," I don't understand what they mean because I don't watch myself.
Right.
You know,
okay.
I just talk.
see what you mean.
You know.
Yeah, you're just doing you. That's the great.
But
That's the great thing about you.
away from me,
Yeah.
the point is this nurse lady, right? She's
I want to keep talking about you.
Let's
Oh, I
talk
know,
about
I know.
Tim
It's
more.
great. Just keep talking about yeah.
No, that's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
No, but she's a perfect example of what you're saying. The
Exactly.
thirst.
I know.
Yeah.
And it turns out she was trying to be an influencer,
Right.
and she went back for one day and made a fake video. Like, duh. Hello.
So this is
doing it
listen,
for the hits.
Some reporter. I love it. You know why people like Trump so much? Not this is one reason. When he rags on the press,
Yeah.
the press doesn't understand how good that makes people feel.
True.
We just watched that clip where the journalist is like, "I want to ask you about oil prices," and he goes,
This
"Where's it at right now?" And then the guy goes, "Well, my question is no. What's the price?" I don't know.
I'm gonna do research on that, and he's like, "Okay, next."
Get
Yeah,
back to me.
like,
That had
dude,
me laughing. That's funny.
I've been in
Oh,
these
man.
I've been in these press junket kind of things.
Yeah.
Where like, I was in Chicago, they did some big arrest. This was like a big activist thing. The police chief walks up and then I'm sitting there and I'm just like, interesting. And the journalists are desperately trying to think of something to ask.
Yeah,
Like even if
anything.
even if it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then you'll hear it because everyone's yelling questions.
Right.
And sometimes people yell things where you're like, "What did you just say?"
Wait, what?
Because they don't know what to say and they know if they don't have a question, they're not going to get a chance to ask.
Did you just ask what color socks he's wearing? Like,
No,
what?
but it's like almost like listening to
Yeah.
a bunch of Joe Bidens
Yeah, right.
yelling. It's
Mumbling
like
around.
words are coming out, but what your question was completely nonsensical. And then it's because the way it works is all the journalists will yell and the guy will go and then point at somebody.
Right.
And then they'll ask a question. But there are so many journalists I've watched where they're like, they ask the stupidest questions because they feel like they have to. Sometimes there's nothing to ask, man. Sometimes you're just good. Just move on.
Yep.
But it's similar.
Yeah.
So here's a guy at a press briefing, doesn't know what the current price of oil is,
Yeah.
but wanted to ask about the current price of oil.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
What? You wouldn't understand the answer if he gave it to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Trump was like. I'm wasting my time with you.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
Next.
I
Yeah,
loved
man.
it.
Yeah, it was
He
pretty
was
great.
like, well, I'll look into it later. He's like, no. What do you mean? Look? How are you going to ask a question?
Yeah.
I think he said something like that.
That was pretty funny.
It was funny too when he called out the Chinese propaganda reporter.
Yeah, dude. I was looking that up, and the owner of the company she works for was a member of the CCP.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you?"
It's private. Uh-huh.
No, it's not. No,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah.
Made me mad.
Anyway, as much as we've said it 50 billion and one times,
Oh.
media lies. People are I look at it like kind of like a toilet. swirling around, making its way to the end point.
I don't know if I like this analogy.
All of these, so the media is literal, like verbal diarrhea.
Debris. Yes.
Spinning around, getting faster and faster and faster as it makes its way to the ultimate endpoint of just wiping itself
barrel?
out.
I don't know.
But these social media influencers in the media, they're doing the exact same things. They chase after one-upping each other. So that's why you end up seeing these weird...
Wouldn't it cause it to overflow, though?
No, it's going down.
Some point.
It's just flushing.
It's too much.
Yeah, I view it kind of like to get away from the toilet analogy, like a whirlpool that's slowly spinning faster and faster, and it actually starts ejecting people. Jeez. Right? So imagine you're a regular person caught in this, whirlpool, and you're reading all this fake news.
I'm still envisioning a toilet.
You're in the toilet.
I don't like that.
But eventually you start spinning so fast you get thrown out.
I'd be grateful I'm out of that toilet.
Well, this is where I think Alyssa Milano has carried people.
Okay.
So she's tweeting right now like the Bernie supporters and the Trump supporters all sound the same. It's like, wow, everyone hates you.
Yeah.
Like maybe you should realize
Doesn't
that.
that mean everyone?
Who do you think you're talking to?
She's uniting everyone.
Oh, well, the Biden supporters are like, yeah,
please.
Alyssa.
Yeah, there's four of them.
All four Biden supporters.
But look how many people are talking about Alyssa Milano
know, right?
still. That's my point.
I know.
She's doing it for attention.
Yeah, that's it, and it worked.
Yep.
Maybe that's why she did it. Maybe she knew that it would be the attention she needs.
No one's been talking about me for a while.
Yep. Yep.
I got to do something.
And she doesn't care about Bernie or Biden supporters.
No, she doesn't care at all.
The establishment, Bernie or Trump supporters, the establishment wants Biden, and she knows it. So she knows she'll go to Hollywood, and there's going to be some super rich, Democrat guy who's going to be like, I don't care. Good, Biden.
Yeah.
No socialism for me. Like, I'm not a big fan of Bernie for a lot of reasons. I was before, but not so much as, today for...
Well, he's not the same.
He's not the same. And it's funny to see people like Rogan say, like, he's so consistent. I'm like, nah,
He was consistent up until 2017.
And then he started chasing after woke stupidity.
When he didn't get it in 2016, then it was like...
But he even changed in 2016, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, he used to fight for working class people, like labor unions. And all of a sudden, he gets up on stage in 2016 and said, if you're white, you don't know what it's like to be poor. I tell people that, and they're like, he never said that. I'm like, dude, he said it.
Yeah, he did.
He said, if you're white, you don't know what it's like to be poor. And I could see it.
Poor.
Most white people in this country are poor.
A majority of poor people are white.
I could see it in his face. He knew he was lying because he was desperately trying to pander to these weird elitist activists.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. And then he flip-flopped on guns and he flip-flopped on immigration. But anyway, the point is, you want to have an argument about policy, I'm totally down. Here's my points about Bernie Sanders that I don't like.
Yeah.
I've talked about Trump and foreign policy. Joe Biden can't talk.
I know.
It's insane. There's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah. Well, how about we jump over to some super chats?
Yes, let's
Sure.
do it.
Yeah,
And then the next segment we have is we're going to talk about how fat is these body positivity people for years have condemned people to an early coronavirus death.
Oh, it sounded like you were saying we're going to talk about how fat these body positivity people are.
Oh,
Well,
we
they
will be
but
But
then
then
touching
you
on that.
continued
Yep.
on.
No,
It's just kind of funny sounding.
I wonder if you could go back in time today and like go to these body positivity people and be like, I'm from the future. Here's proof you're killing these people. I wonder if that would change their tune.
No way.
Right? It wouldn't.
No.
They're going to be like, you can be healthy and fat, healthy at any size. That's what they call it. Healthy at any size or
Yeah.
every size.
That doesn't make any
size, yeah.
sense to me.
I think it's I don't know, because they really hate skinny people, so it doesn't seem like they're actually true to the any size. They just basically mean like, don't make fun of me for being fat.
Right, because if it really were every size, then models could be healthy too. And they spend all their time arguing that models are not a healthy weight.
Yep. All right, we're going to hop over to the super chats.
right.
I can
everybody.
actually speak on that, but we can
We'll
talk
get
about
into
it later.
that. That is your expertise. That's right.
Whoa. Expertise.
Yeah, you did it for a living.
is a loose term.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're the expert.
I know, but I don't know if you know this about me. I don't delve too deep into most things.
That's
I
okay.
tend to do my own thing.
And this actually would be a decent segue afterwards into Birds of Prey, because
Oh,
of how
yeah.
they like made the
True.
women all frumpy and
That's a good point.
unattractive.
Yeah.
It's like we'll get into it. I'll save it.
Super chats.
Here we go. Meredith Stone says Tim's channel going to be demonetized soon. Patreon. I will never use Patreon. Patreon is a garbage platform. Patreon's banned so many people. I don't even
really?
know what's going on. It's such a like.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, they're just San Francisco ideologically driven, and so when it comes to political pressure, they'll nuke your channel without warning, and they'll shut off your income. It's like we can't function this way. We need contracts.
Yeah, that's
know,
a good
so-
point.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Buchanan says, China, we have no new cases. Hong Kong and Taiwan, we have new cases. World. So China, do you say they are not a part of China? Yeah, right. This is a really funny thing that's been going around. China keeps saying they have no new cases,
Right.
and Taiwan is like, we do. So,
And Japan,
Are we
too,
a
is
part of
like-
it or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
huh.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a good
because they
point.
try and say it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. King Canuck says, dude, weed, LMAO. Short Fat Otaku's got a Minecraft server. Now you boys should join it. We'll even make you guys custom skin maybe somewhere to unwind. I have never played Minecraft.
I have never played Minecraft.
Yeah, never.
I don't think I ever will.
We're old fogies. That's how you know it. We're
Yeah,
old.
if I'm gonna play like some 8-bit looking game, I'm gonna actually go back and play some of my favorites from the past that are actually 8-bit.
I'm sure Minecraft's fun, just because it's
Yeah,
got
sure.
like a retro graphic style. And
Well,
a
if I'm
3D
gonna play a
environment.
sandbox game, I'll play GTA.
I like Besiege. You ever play Besiege?
Mm-mm.
It's like you build little machines and then run people over, and so they'll be like little knights, and they like bounce and try to break your machine, and then you flamethrower, and
Okay.
then they run away on fire.
That
And
sounds like fun.
yeah, Besiege is awesome. I
Sure.
make it's really really great. It's like an engineering
It's
game.
on PS4.
Computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a PC game.
Right on.
It's like an engineering game. You can build flying machines and stuff. I built one
Okay.
machine that like basically beats every single level. Because there's different things you got to do. There'll be like a tower made of like a stone tower, and it's like knock it down. And you have to like launch things at it. And then there's some where it's like a bunch of little archers are firing at you, and you got to like flamethrower them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really fun game.
Right on.
Glenn says, my girlfriend is a nurse. She was sick and tested for COVID, thankfully negative. If I get it, it will be her bringing it home. Doomsday prep time yet. Man. Riley says, hi, how are you? I'm actually pretty good. We had a good skate day. Adam,
Oh, yeah, we did.
You got the back disaster revert, which is pretty cool.
Revert out. Yeah,
and then you
that
did the
was
grind
nice.
off the edge of the ramp, so it was a pretty good day.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yep.
It was a good day.
So we're doing all right. David B says, see Lewis Rossman YouTube, government screwing small businesses. I guess we'll see how things play out after all this.
A lot of
runs
small
down.
businesses are going down because of this. It's
Yeah,
sad.
well, not just small business. We have one story. AMC
Oh,
movie
yeah.
theaters say
That's a
that
good
they
point.
might completely go under.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a crazy world,
Hey,
man.
who goes to the movies anymore anyway?
Ward Spose says, Tim, Adam, and Lydia, hope you are well. Stay
Yes.
safe. Keep it the content. Y'all are the last of the honest journalists.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And it's like not even like we're
He's
doing.
the journalist. I just tag along for the ride.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just about being like giving a rational, logical assessment of things.
Exactly.
Like removing emotion from it.
Yeah.
Like when you see Alyssa Milano say, Brett Kavanaugh, we don't need evidence. And then Joe Biden, whoa, wait a
Maybe
minute, we need evidence. You can see that like she doesn't actually make sense.
Yeah.
She's
not
lying.
consistent.
She's just a con artist.
Yeah.
Well, Gon Nam says Illidan is bae. Someone got the reference. Graboid says, holy crap, Tim is back, literally in black. That is correct,
It's true,
indeed.
yeah.
Merrick says, Adam, do you remember the time I beat your sliver deck by exiling your mana sources and you died to your Pact of Negation upkeep cost? I remember.
Who's that?
Merrick?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
You do?
Thanks for the super chat, buddy. It's my buddy in New York.
Love it.
You got eaten by your Pact of Negation cost?
Yes, I did. He did it to me.
Oh, because he got rid of your mana source.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was brutal.
That's
More
great.
mana.
John Smith with the very, very clever point, Pim Tool.
Oh,
I've
wow.
never heard that
What?
before.
I will consider that for
Inventive.
future shows.
I like it.
Kan Tai says, or thanks for becoming a member. He joins
Thank you.
Ero says, Trump cures cancer headlines. In contracting economy, Trump renders thousands of oncologists jobless. The funny thing is, the joke always was, if Trump cured cancer, they would find a way to spin it negative.
Of course.
Trump literally said, hydroxychloroquine may work, it may not. I'm optimistic.
Yep.
And what did the media write? Trump pushes dangerous drug cocktail. It's like, ugh. and now New York and like
it's so
Australia is
silly.
using it.
Did you hear about the Nevada governor like hoarding it for
Right.
inmates?
Yes.
Yep.
For
Oh,
inmates.
After
Man.
banning it for
Banned
For
it
the
for the
normal
general
people.
public. And do you want to tell it?
Well, so he banned it for the normal public. Yeah, and then they found it in like a jail,
Stockpiles.
didn't they? In stockpiles.
Yeah, in, like, jail
I was
for-
like,
for-
what was he doing? Like, why is it more important to protect the prison population than the people who
You
have
know,
committed
man,
crimes?
Yeah.
So it's funny that they're trying to claim that Trump has got a stake in these manufacturers,
Yeah.
but it's available in generic form. It's the stupidest argument ever. It's like Trump's pushing a generic drug that could potentially reduce symptoms, because apparently I was reading that we know it's an anti-malarial. It has antiviral properties.
Right.
Trump isn't pushing a vaccine which can be controlled by a pharmaceutical company like many people actually are. Trump is saying this might work, and what does the media do? Who are they in the
Orange man bad.
Well, no, it's pharmaceuticals good. patent the vaccine. We control it. We make good money. I was watching V for Vendetta the other day. You know, basically V for Vendetta, I'm not trying to say it's the same thing. I'm just saying it's a movie where they bring up that the government manufactured a virus, then manufactured the cure.
Well, had the cure.
Right, had the cure, and then
released the virus.
And then the people who controlled the stake in the company became extremely wealthy.
Yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I am not trying to equate it to real life. I'm just pointing out I was watching V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie, though.
Jack D says, "Hi, everyone. I'm hoping to join the Royal Navy soon. Let's hope we've learned from the Spanish flu and they actually monitor us for any symptoms. And don't forget to bring some limes with you, lest you get scurvy." Mm-hmm. Chaos Smite says, "The Epoch Times has released an hour video of the origin of CCP virus in detail. Pretty interesting. I'll check it out."
Yeah, interesting.
Chrisman says, "Tim, did you watch Wizards or Gandahar yet? Of Gandahar?" I didn't. Did someone? What is that? Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't know.
I've not heard of that.
Nope. I just work all day, so I skate when I can. Arthur Flower says, "Tim, take off the beanie. Grace us with your dome." That is verboten. Mm-mm. Nope. We have to get 1 million live concurrent viewers for that to happen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Share. If we get 1 million concurrent viewers, all right.
Okay.
I think the
I'm gonna hold you to that.
The space jump.
If we hit 1 million,
Let's do it.
1 million concurrent viewers.
I'm gonna rip that beanie right off your head.
Do you remember the Red Bull space jump?
No. Yeah. That was.
I think they had.
Felix
Oh,
something.
wow.
I think that was 4 million concurrent.
It was
like
awesome.
the biggest I'd ever seen.
It was
Could be
really
wrong.
awesome.
What about the launch of that rocket with
What?
the Tesla in it? Do you remember that? When they
No,
launched
but
that one?
how many people were watching that one?
I don't know. I was kind of asking you. I thought
It's
you
cool,
might
though.
know. Yeah,
No,
it's
I don't know.
amazing.
Think about the amount of data that goes out. So if you're streaming at like, oh man, it's been a while since I've gone over like streaming rates. But if you're streaming at like 2 megabits per second, you know, maybe let's say 4 because you're doing like a really crisp high def.
Yeah.
And it's streaming out up 4 and then down to 1 million people. 4 million megabits per second. It's just insane data transmission.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Alpha Wolf says, "Thank you, Tim, for all the great journalism you do." No problemo. I just kind of, talk about my feelings. JCAK says, "So Jesse 2.0, wow. But we really need to get America back to work. We don't want this to turn us into Venezuela. Get testing ramped up for sure."
True that.
Paul Cornelius says, "Have you studied the concept of The Cathedral by Mencius Mollberg? His thoughts on press, universities, Democrat Party might address lots of your angst." Corsonic says, "Jimmy Fallon is god-awful when interviewing folks on his computer since he uses his built-in mic." Oh, I know.
It's so bad.
It's like, use your phone. Your phone sounds so much better. They don't know what they're doing.
He's pushing out so much stuff that just is bad.
Yeah.
It's like, come, Jimmy, stop trying so bad.
I mean, it's always been bad.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Yeah.
He got better on his show, though. It wasn't.
Well,
it
I
started
mean-
off rocky, but he got better at it.
But it's just writers for it.
Should have been Conan, man. It should have been
Yep.
Conan.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been Conan. All Metal Mike says, "Tim, do you have colored clothes or light gray?" I do. I have color-coded outfits. When I skate, it's like a beige and brown.
Yeah, there's only
ensemble.
2.
Well, there's more. There's
What? Wow.
I have the green-
See,
I
I
have the
didn't
green
even know
one.
this.
Oh.
yeah, I have the green.
Oh, the green. Right. 3. So there's 3.
There's a brown. There's the brown and beige. There's a straight brown. There's a green. Yeah, and I have shoes to match it.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're
Yep,
coordinated.
totally. Okay.
Yeah.
James Coleman says, "It's a proof that you can't disprove something. It has no value. Conversely, what would it take for you to vote Trump, become Republican, to oppose Dems?" I think the main issue with that question is like I'm fairly ambivalent. It's like when Trump won, I laughed because all of these smug elitist Hillary supporters got comeuppance.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I've lived through Republicans before. I just don't care all that much. And no matter who gets elected, be it Democrat or Republican, they're warmongers. So I'll give Trump some credit because I think to a certain degree he's done less than like Obama did in terms of foreign policy.
Yeah.
But he's still done the missile strikes and the weapons deals and all that stuff. And that's the biggest, I don't know. He deserves some credit in dealings with some of these countries, but I don't know. I think at this point though, I'm like totally off the Democrats because I was actually like, no, I'll consider voting for like Yang or Tulsi. Now I'm just like, not going to happen. I'm not going anywhere near those people.
Then Biden came out of nowhere and just it's like now he's the leading guy.
The issue is what is Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff doing right now? They want to investigate Trump.
Yeah.
And that was like, are you insane? Are you
Isn't
people
that what
literally insane?
all they've done for the past 4 years?
Yep.
So when are they going to actually work?
Right.
I've been curious. Like, we have a major disaster on our hands, and I have not heard like anything. From
They
them.
got nothing.
I
The
haven't
only thing
heard
they know how to do
anything.
is complain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems
Complain
like
about
it.
the orange man.
Are they trying to come up with solutions? Are they trying to help people? Are they fundraising or anything?
The best Chuck Schumer could have done, the Democrats, is Chuck Schumer saying we need a czar to like oversee distribution. We already have Rear Admiral
Yeah.
Palauchik who's overseeing it.
What
It's
we
just-
need is younger people in government.
yeah, dude.
She's
yeah.
80, dude.
There needs to be an age limit
Yeah.
in government. I'm dead
Term
serious.
limits at least for sure.
Pelosi is 80.
and an age limit,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Term limits and age limits. Once
got-
you reach a certain age, you just don't care.
No, you don't care
Yeah.
about the future.
You don't care anymore.
You only have like
Well,
five
So
more
obvious.
years.
Sure, if you have family that you want, but a lot of Congress don't have family. I was
No,
looking into
I
this.
disagree. I think
Ah.
it's the reason why most people who vote are older. That's the biggest voting bracket is because they do care.
Okay.
The problem is
I'm not talking about voters. I'm talking about people in the government already
No-
that have
none of
been
them
there
care.
for 40 years.
That's the problem with how the system works. No matter what you do,
mm-hmm.
it's people who want power. That's all they care about.
Exactly.
There's a small handful of people that I
Yeah.
think aren't just in it for the power, and most
And those
of
are
them
rare.
Most of them are Republicans.
And actually, Trump said this in his documentary. I didn't watch it, but I was like, Netflix auto plays a little bit of
Yeah.
the documentaries, and he said something about the killer instinct. You either have it or you don't have it. And most people in government have that killer instinct that they just want power. They just want to go after it and go get
Yeah.
it for themselves, not for the general public. And that's the issue. It's because those are the people that are in power.
This is what I was saying about if I got banned from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, well, I'm gonna go off to the woods. Go read a book. I'm not gonna cry about it. But there's a similar thing where people refuse to give up what they have,
Yeah.
and there's a certain point where you've got to be like, some things aren't worth it.
Yeah.
You've got these influencers who will just do whatever, including lie and make up these sob stories to get more. Because these people reach a certain point where they plateau and they can't figure out how to grow anymore. And it's like, maybe you can't.
Yep.
Maybe that's just where you're at. Maybe you should be happy with what you've got. But they can't. It's a thirst. It's like they're vampires.
Yeah.
It's really funny how you have these lefty activists who say that greed is a mental illness
Yeah.
because they just want more no matter what.
It feels like it. Yeah.
But it's not it's like Jack Dorsey, we can talk about him giving his money away. These people aren't doing it because they're like, some people are desperate for money and they just want more and more and more.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are doing it to like build something and create something. If you're working in government like Pelosi, what are you building or creating? You're not.
Yeah.
You're literally just sitting there accruing power and wealth and manipulating your position for power and wealth. So that's why I'm like, if I look at Bill Gates and he built a company, he makes a bunch of money, I'm like, yeah, he did his thing. I'm not necessarily a big fan of massive wealth disparities and ridiculous wealth, but I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, people made money. But people in government, they're just tricking people into giving up their power.
They're holding a
basically.
job.
It's like, it's not just that. It's Bill Gates made an operating system for all his faults and all of his dealings.
Yeah.
And people used it, and it was beneficial, and we use it right now. And well, there you go. He started this thing, and now we all use his operating system. It made computers easier to use.
But he
Yeah.
also has a lot of foundations and does a lot of
Sure.
good stuff for humanity.
Nancy Pelosi said, "Give me your vote, and I'll make the government do things for you.
And I'll make the orange man
Right.
go away.
No way.
Vote for me again, and I'll investigate him." It's like you're not actually doing anything for society.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that they say that landlord isn't a job. It's like, dude, a landlord does more than Nancy Pelosi does.
Yeah. Someone, Space Dodo just said to me, greed is part of the instinct of survival of self and species. And that's true.
Right.
So there has to be some sort of essence of greed in the sense that you have to take care of yourself, right?
Well, now we're talking about like scale.
True. That's true.
Like if you
The sense of self versus the government, which is supposed to be for all of us, isn't it?
somebody who's like, I need to make more money so I can grow my business is different from someone being like, how can I lie to people to get their money? So I look at someone like, and I don't mean to single out Pelosi on this. I mean like basically all politicians.
Yeah.
You've got someone in the private sector saying, what can I make that somebody's going to want and they will trade me money for it? In government, they're like, how can I trick someone into giving me their money? That's like all government is.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I'm exaggerating for sure because I do think there's a lot of good things that government does and has done.
Yeah.
I mean, the military, obviously. But I think there's a lot of social programs that do well. But all we end up getting are people exploiting this system, government, to gain power.
On both sides, too. People exploit
It's all of them.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a small handful of people in government that I think are genuine. Most of them are I think are Republican.
I think I have 6 dudes And they
6
are,
dudes.
all to the right side.
Yeah.
Because they seem honest, like consistent. Rand Paul, he's the one who
Totally.
always votes against all this stuff. He's that one dissenting vote.
Well,
Yes.
he is truly is the son of Dr. No.
Yeah, man.
I think I trust Rand Paul the most probably out of most politicians, even though I don't agree with him on everything.
Right,
Just
I
because
don't have to agree with him
he
on
really
anything.
does stand up for what he believes in. And then Dan Crenshaw's pretty good. Tulsi's pretty good. But if I was going to rate, those three on a scale, I think Rand Paul is the most honest. Tulsi is less so, but still substantially more honest
Diplomatic,
than.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's been a few things that Tulsi has kind of flip flopped on, and I've been confused by. But for the most part, I think she's genuine and trying to do good, and doesn't want to be a keys to the castle kind of person.
Yeah.
Let's grab some more of these super chats.
All right.
Leor Engelstein says, seeing how the hospital ships are being used currently, do you think that the U.S. could invest in multiple fast action hospital ships in the future? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
Why wouldn't I?
I've heard bad
Why
things
not?
about them. I've heard bad things about the hospital ships.
Like they're unsanitary or they're
It's
too
just-
cramped or what?
Not that it's unsanitary necessarily, but like they're not nice. You know what I mean? So it's like if you had
It's
to go
like
to the
a
hospital,
wartime hospital.
right?
And that's
exactly
what they are.
right.
So it
you
makes
do
sense.
not want to be in one of these ships compared to like a nice hospital bed.
True,
you know?
but for the time when we need them,
I think it's
they're
really
pretty
cool.
great.
It's really cool.
Like,
'Cause look-
let's get them up to New York. All right, New York's good now. Oh, Philadelphia, they can bring it up the Delaware River and right to the city. Let's bring it to D.C. You
Right.
know, wherever they need it.
I play
the water.
I play a bunch of Civilization.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have hospital ships in Civilization.
Well, maybe it's not accurate.
Maybe they should.
Maybe they should.
That'd be a good thing. Yeah, they have destroyers, but we have ships that are just, it's like, it reminds me of, or you've got the destruction ships.
Yeah.
And you have the life ships.
It's cool. I'd never seen them actually. They're
Yeah.
because they're all white with the
crosses on
medic
them.
They're like
cross.
nurses.
It's pretty dope.
Well, it's supposed to be that's like international rules of engagement or whatever.
like you don't shoot down the medic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the activists in New York and across the United States, the street medics, they have the Red Cross, and it is true. Like if you're in a foreign country in a conflict and you have the Red Cross, then combatants are supposed to leave you alone.
Yeah.
It depends on where you are because some people aren't going to care.
Right.
But the funny thing is, like, I've seen cops grab medics and arrest them, and they're like, "What are you doing? I'm a medic." And the cops are like, "Shut up! Like you duct taped a cross on your back. I don't care."
Yeah.
It's like they think they're in war, so they're gonna get special privileges. But the ships, they do have it, and it's supposed to be like, don't attack the ships. It's always been the weirdest thing to me that we think people will play by these rules.
Right. That's what I was thinking this while you were
Yeah.
talking. It's like, man, we're so comfortable in our bubble.
Right. It's like, okay, everybody, we're gonna go to war, and if you lose, we're gonna kill all your people and take all your stuff.
Huh.
But here's the rules.
There's rules.
It's like someone's going to be like, okay, my existence is under threat. I'll agree to your rules, and then behind your back, not abide by them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we end up seeing in a lot of these countries. People don't care about rules of engagement.
Nope.
And so the Americans who are in like Iraq and Afghanistan are under these constraints. Will go to prison for like, there's one story that's really contentious where guy on a motorcycle got shot. So they said it was murder. And the guy said he was fearing for his life, and they said it doesn't matter, rules of engagement. I'm not going to get into the full story because I'm not, well versed on it enough because people have pushed back. But you have these people who will put bombs on kids,
Yep.
That's
and
true.
then what's the U.S. soldier supposed to do? Because I was talking to some Army guys about this, and they're like, you're driving on a road, and all of a sudden there's a kid standing in the road, and you don't know why or what they're doing,
Right.
and they have put bombs on kids. What do you do?
I-
Yep.
I can't
What do you
answer
do?
that.
It's a
I
hard
Right,
have no
exactly.
idea.
situation.
Well, the first answer is Americans
Back up.
should not be in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Well, that's a good start.
Once you're there,
But if
I
you are-
understand these the guys who are deployed there, they're in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, let's we'll grab some more. Michael says, love the show. Loved the one the other week about cats. My girlfriend and I have 5. Newest
Oh.
one is a Sphinx named Lusumfer. Keep up the great work, you 3. Right
Thanks.
now
Thank
we
you.
are cat sitting Betsy. So the 2 cats, Emily's 2 cats are Betsy and Bucko. Bucko lives here, and he's a silly little eunuch.
It's Poku.
And anyway, he's got a variety of names. Betsy, though, is this grumbling, snooty. It's just
Yes, she
creeps.
grumbles.
She creeps me out.
she's
Yeah.
creepy, dude. So you're sleeping in
I
your
don't
room.
trust her.
You'll be sleeping in your room, and she will be in the hall, looking into your room, just like with her head around the corner, staring at you while you sleep. And
Yeah.
and like I'll walk up and be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you, he's a creepy little thing.
I'm watching you
Yep.
breathe, human.
Yep. And then she starts going like
Yeah, she makes that sound.
yep. She makes that sound.
Sharpening her claws.
Ugh,
Yeah, I don't
it's
trust her.
creepy.
See,
Yeah.
Boko, I trust.
He's just like
I trust him.
He'll walk in
And
just,
he doesn't like her, and I don't trust her, and I trust him. So it's like, yep, I get it, dude. I get it. I don't trust her either, man.
It's on the same page.
cats.
Oh man.
All right, where are we at? Lost Cold Soul says in Japan, life business as usual, except for on base going into semi-lockdown. HP Con Charlie. Live off base here, Soy Jesus is growing on me each day.
Oh, word.
Aw,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Appreciate you.
Brian says deaths are at 1,770 in the U.S. for today. I think it is a new high, actually. Yeah, they're saying I think the peak is going to be like 3K in dead in one day.
Oh man.
There's a funny chart. It's not really funny, but it's like in the context of the people who don't believe this is happening. It was seasonal flu deaths compared to coronavirus,
Okay.
and the flu is like a wave that goes up and then down, and the COVID is like straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know what these people think because like, so I looked.
Are
at the
people still comparing it to the flu?
Yes.
That's still a thing?
And there are people who believe that it's a hoax, and they've backed off a little bit. But some of these people, it's so annoying. You think Donald Trump is in on this conspiracy with Boris Johnson in the ICU and Spain and the Democrats
and Italy
and the Democrats
and
Like,
every country.
they're all working together. It's a globalist plot. It's like so. My question
New
is,
World Order is here. It's like no.
I looked up the deaths. The deaths in New York, the latest numbers from 2017, and it's about 425 people per day die in New York State.
Okay.
About 125 of the deaths are in New York City. There was like 750 deaths in New York City in one day, like 2 days ago. And in New York State, it was like 800, almost doubling the average from 2017. If you think those deaths aren't COVID, then what are they dying from?
Right.
It's like the Death Note. That's the joke I made. Like there's a high school kid in his room writing down names like dun, 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 dun. If you haven't seen Death Note, you really should watch it. But basically, it's about a kid who finds a book that when you write someone's name in it, they die.
Yep.
And so it's like it's really dramatic, and he's like dun dun dun. He's got like a god complex, and he's writing the names of every criminal down and stuff like that. But I'm like, what do you think's happening? And there are people who are like, I think they're overcounting deaths. They're taking people who had heart attacks and saying it's coronavirus. Okay, well, in 2017, we had 125 deaths, which included heart
Right,
attacks.
yeah, exactly.
Where are the extra people coming from? Are they just like putting mannequin bodies in bags and then writing down coronavirus? No, it's because it's happening, and you know what's really messed up. I am now seeing my friends on Facebook being like, "Yo, I got it. This is bad. I'm messed up."
I have a few people that have gone through it. Actually,
man.
some positive note. One of them had it and is giving plasma to the hospital
cool.
That's so great.
because she has the antibodies.
Woohoo.
And so that's a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing until I read her post that like, look, she was all decked out because even though she had it, you can still get reinfected, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but because she has the antibodies built up, she was given plasma to the hospital, and that's a cool
Yeah.
side of this that I didn't really expect. I was
Yeah.
like 2 years, a year and a half to the vaccine, but if we can help by giving our plasma, if you have gotten it and like built up your antibodies for it, like that's cool. It's interesting.
When this was like kind of kicking into high gear around last month, I was like, hey, look, man, I'm looking at the stuff I'm seeing what these countries are doing, and I really believe it because these countries don't shut down their economies. Billionaires don't give up their money for no reason.
Right.
But it was still like I wasn't seeing anybody with it.
Exactly.
Now when I go on Facebook,
Yep.
like people I know and trust and have known for a decade, 2 decades, I'm seeing their posts being like, I'm doing okay. Just want to let you know I was positive. Man, this is really brutal. I was coughing up. And I'm like, that's my friend telling me straight up what I've heard from other people.
My buddy who sent us a super chat earlier, he had it
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
and got over it. Thank the sun, you know.
Yeah.
man.
It's weird to me that people think it's being faked.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Donald Trump is doing it. It's a conspiracy. It's Trump's conspiracy. That's so weird.
It's
Out of
really
sight, out of
elaborate.
mind.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I
All
guess
right.
something like 14% of people know someone who's had it, so maybe it'll kind of catch on.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Michael says, all right, so we know what the Beanie and what Soy Jesus do in their free time. What does the Lady of Whiterun do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I like to go on walks, I like to garden, and I like to crochet.
Well, there you
Because
go.
I'm a very old woman.
She is a very old
It's
woman.
true, I am.
S-Head says, I hope everyone is staying safe during all this. PSA, though, if your girlfriend stopped shaving during the quarantines and stay-at-home orders, she wasn't doing it for you. Ooh.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah. Bill says, unfortunately, she's not wrong. I'm on a physician group on Facebook, and we have multiple stories of administration forbidding providers from wearing PPE, some to the point of ripping masks off people's faces.
Oh, wow.
Why would they do that, though?
Why? Malicious people, dude.
Dude.
I've heard stories that it's like people freak out or something, like they get anxiety from seeing all the gear. I don't know if that's true, but that's weird. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Jared says, Bill Vuong, you lie like a rug. Oh, there we go. Some spicy contention.
Woohoo.
Talbot says, watching celebs try to YouTube is like watching a kid with a mixed bag of half-melted Lego Duplo Mega Blocks and a few random Technic trying to build a car and smiling awkwardly as it doesn't work.
Very awkward.
There you go.
Man.
That's funny. But they're having fun, though. That's the difference. That kid is having fun. They don't even seem like they're having fun because deep down they know this isn't right.
I'll tell you what.
I could see it in their eyes.
When it comes to YouTube, these individuals who have built up channels,
Mm-hmm.
it's because they're doing so many different things. They're finding a way to monetize it. They're learning and improving.
Yeah.
The people on shows like The Daily Show, it's a huge collective of people, all trying to lift this one thing up.
Right.
So the hosts have no talent.
Well, I feel
like a little bit.
Yeah,
like
some.
maybe
I've
the
seen
hosts
Trevor
of-
Noah's routine. He's got some humor to him.
But when it comes to trying to be a host for a news and politics show,
live also, is a
Yeah,
much different situation than like a pre-prepared, exactly when to hit those punchlines, all the different, segments, whatever.
I would not do stand-up. I've actually had agents hit me up, like big-time agents, be like, how would you like to host like a show that's like kind of comedic? I'm like, are you insane?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you could do it. You're funny, right? And I'm like, yeah, maybe like off the cuff sometimes I'll make a quip that's funny, but I am not a comedian.
Right.
Why would you even bother? And they're like, they write it all for you. They do just, I'm like, nah.
No.
But that's what they do on these shows. It's like,
Yep, exactly.
does Trevor Noah actually know anything about this stuff? Does John Oliver?
No idea.
It's the weirdest thing to me seeing like John Oliver. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like,
Yeah.
but they write it for you. So,
He is funny, but it's his show that's funny.
No, it was the first episode was funny. But now
The
it's
very first one.
yes, because every show is identical.
That's true.
It's like what do you say? It's current year and Little Timothy over here. Now some people might say I'm biased because he uses my name all the time, but no, it's literally his joke. He'll be like, the politicians are complaining, but Little Timothy over here in 2020, and it's like, yes, we get it, John. It's current year. That's the meme. It's current year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the formula for those shows is the exact same. You watch Samantha Bee, you watch Trevor Noah, you watch John Oliver.
Yeah, it's all the same.
John Stewart did an amazing job.
Yeah, he was
on the
great.
Daily Show.
Yeah.
And then they tried to replicate it with generic plastic figures.
I miss John
Doesn't
Stewart.
work. Yeah.
He was awesome.
He said something recently, several months ago. It was probably last year, actually, that the reason the media keeps, smearing and lying about what's going on is because Trump goes after their ego, and they take the bait. They fall for it.
Yeah.
They're very egotistical people,
That's a
and
good
so
point.
they end up trying to get him
Yeah.
instead of just reporting.
Get him back.
And it plays into this narrative that they're fake news and they're lying because they are.
And it's got worse and worse.
Yep.
And now look where we're at.
And John Stewart praised the president on the 9/11 Victims Fund and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember that, when that happened. That was awesome.
We used to have people like John Stewart who had no problem saying things like, here's why Trump is bad, here's where he's good.
Yep.
Today, they won't even praise him for that.
Yeah, it's either black or white.
Right.
No in between.
It's like once the first really bad thing was George Carlin when he passed.
Yeah.
The floodgates on the SJW stuff broke open without his leadership. Yeah. And then John Stewart retired. And
man.
and then it's like all been falling apart.
Yep.
We need some younger thought leaders,
It's true.
Yes.
All right, let's see. What do we got here? Gregory says, if AOC had stocks in a solar panel company, she would be praised for putting her money where her mouth is or something ridiculous like that. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. DJ says, hey, Tim, how you doing, my beanie man? Question, what can I as a truck driver do to avoid the media frenzy on all this two-faced lying? Yeah, that CBS thing, I was talking about that to my father and mother, LOL, was so fake, haha. I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
I read the news every day for a living. And I don't get it all right. Definitely not.
And this talk of like these YouTubers that are being cut off, it's like,
Oh, man.
if it were to happen to us, I would want to continue this. This is fun. And I get a lot of my information from you, and
That's why they would want to cut it off.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people watch your stuff too, and because of that, because it's like a legitimate, or at least it feels legitimate, for most people,
Yeah.
and it is, as far as I'm concerned. It's like a good, like, viewpoint that you do say this is what's good, this is what's bad. You were just commending Jon Stewart for doing that. And
Right.
you do that. So there are a few people that do it, so it's
I think that the big
that's
challenge.
why I don't think they're going to cut you off because
We'll see.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
Back during Occupy Wall Street, I was doing a live stream from the financial district. We were by the stock exchange, and I was filming all these protesters, and the police were arresting people.
Yeah.
I had thousands of viewers, probably like 30,000 live viewers, and the comments live were flooded with a bunch of conservatives and stuff. And I had a bunch of lefties say, "Tim, you need to get a moderator to ban all of these people because they're just trolling." And it was conservatives saying like, F these commies and stuff like that. And I just was immediately like, I'm not going to ban any of these people. They can say whatever they want.
Right, exactly.
My only concern is if they're spamming the chat so no one can chat.
Or if it's bots, and it's
Right,
like,
just
if
like
it's
spam.
a bot, then get rid of it.
Spam is
Right,
not free
yeah.
speech.
Yeah,
Spam
that's
is
true.
restricting free speech.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, if people come in here to make fun of me, like, I'm all about free speech, so do your
Sure.
thing.
They're
I'm-
still here talking and watching me.
And they were like, hey, you're all right, Tim. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I want and encourage you to come in. I remember I got raided one time by a bunch of, I was filming a Trayvon Martin thing, and a bunch of conservatives raided. And I guess they thought that they were, because like they probably didn't know who I was, and they probably thought they were getting some like activist stream. And I was like, wow, this is really, really cool that all these people are coming in and expressing themselves and talking about how they feel about this. Like, I'm down. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh.
They're like, oh, wait,
I
you're
don't care
about
to.
this? Like, all right.
I'm just filming what's, I think right now there's a lot of people online that are so worked up.
Yeah.
They conflate the subject of an interview, the subject of a story with like support from the journalists themselves.
Yeah.
And I partially blame journalists for this, but it also is the fault of individuals for thinking this. Like, if I did an interview with somebody and they said something stupid, I would get flack for it.
Yeah.
Like, they would blame me because somebody else had a bad opinion or got something wrong. And so I've interviewed people on the left and the right, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not doing these videos like this person is 100% correct all the time. I'm like, here's an activist. Here's what they believe in. Here's what they're saying, and here's why they think this.
Yeah.
And if you think it's wrong, good.
Right.
So for the most part, I'm gonna say it, but it's typically the left.
Well, you
It's-
keep
it's-
saying, though, back to the super chat, that you're going to get cut. You're going to go to a river, down by the river in your van.
it is
You
half
wouldn't-
of
you
a
wouldn't-
joke.
Okay, so you would still try to figure out a way to make this happen.
Well, yeah.
I'm
I wouldn't
asking.
immediately be like, oh, there we go, I'm out.
Right.
But I wouldn't be if I was forced out. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna, oh, what was me? I'm gonna be like, what's next?
Yeah.
The challenge is that YouTube owns the space, completely owns it,
Yep.
and they are turning it into network television,
It seems
one
that way,
step
yeah.
at a time. So maybe we'll make the cut. There are some YouTube channels they like. They do seem to like me for the most part.
Yeah.
A lot of these people who are getting cut don't have access to Google personnel, directly. I do. There's me and a few other people. We are getting negatively hit. They're algorithmically deranking the channel. They're censoring. That's why I'm not confident.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I have direct contact with people at Google, and so they're like, "We'll work with you if we make mistakes." And for the most part, they've actually helped me. So whenever I get demonetized, it's like an oops, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's too late.
Right.
You get demonetized. But they'll come in and like manually override it. So I don't know if that's them pretending. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really, really don't. I'm willing to bet that if I did not go on Joe Rogan last year, I would have already been dropped. But
Yeah.
I think, going on Joe was a big boost for me. I gained like 100,000 subs on each channel after going on Rogan's podcast.
Nice.
And then I think that gave me a big enough boost and like a snowball rolling down a hill to where my channels got big enough so where YouTube kind of backed off. But I had already been given guideline strikes. I had already had, videos removed and stuff and forced out. We'll see what happens. I try my best to work within the system, but at a certain point, like I refuse, there's been some restrictions where I got really, really close to being permanently banned already.
Yeah.
Like Voldemort, the CIA guy whose name I can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you made a video about the guy
They took it
was
down.
like a dentist who had the same name.
Well, that was
or something,
Facebook.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You can't even say the name.
Yeah.
So I was very, very close to being permanently banned entirely off the platform because I was going to war over that. I was like,
This is hill to
Fox
die
News
on.
has said it, C-SPAN has said it,
Rand
a
Paul
senator has
said
said
it.
right, and they
Yep.
were like, no, and I was like, I basically said, I am going to upload 5 videos that each are nothing but 10 minutes of me saying his name to all of my platforms. And I backed down. But I was really close to like lighting the fuse and being like, I'll make a statement.
Yeah.
I will get myself purged completely to make this point. We'll see how, like, the problem is, at a certain point, would it be a good idea for me to actually do that? To nuke all of my channels because it's over 1 million subscribers, to make a political point about the right to freedom of speech, sacrifice my income, my job, my livelihood to make that point? Or would it be worse because now the next several years of content I could have produced breaking through the fake news have been removed?
Right.
So that's the choice I had to make. And ultimately I was like, in all honesty, it's the easy out. I could nuke everything and go with the full free speech I refuse to back down route, but that means no more content from me ever. Or I could back down and not say this person's name and then keep my job and keep working.
Yeah.
But there will come a time where I think YouTube's going to push me and I'm going to be like, you've pushed too hard, I refuse.
Yeah.
And I think they're hoping that they can keep pushing and I'll just give in on every step of the way. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that the tide shifts a little bit eventually, but I'm not entirely convinced.
Yep.
Who knows?
I guess we'll see.
Yep. Champ says, can we see the female talking? You can't. But we do have a camera. We just have to. It's a quarantine, man. You know, we're all getting ready. Like, we're gonna get the camera set up. I'll be real. You know, Lydia talks a lot more than we thought she would. She's allowed. Like, it's not like
I do,
you know,
yes.
yeah, it's cool. You know,
I talk a lot.
Yeah, we appreciate it. But we initially
when you're not stuck in chat.
Yes, it's true. I like to talk to them too.
When we were setting it up, I was like, we definitely got to make sure Lydia has a microphone so that she can, you know, chime in and do sources and fact checking and stuff.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, you need to get a camera. And we're like, oh, we'll definitely get a camera. That's great. And then the quarantine happened, and now we're just like locked in our house, and you know, people are getting arrested. So stupid. Yeah. Tanya says, Tim, please start your own platform for free speech. And Carol Baskin. Oh, I can't read that. I don't know who that is. Talbot says, beware, young prince, for violence may only work well once, or revolt will follow. Beware, old media, your model may only be used rarely, lest trust falter. Paraphrasing old Machi, read the prince, folks. Sa says, my mother is nearly 70, spent 30 years as an ER nurse, and the last 20 years as a small business owner and OC hospice nurse. She is considering going back to the ER to help and was irate at the quitting nurse. Wow. DJ says, Henry is good, but I love Tim. He keeps me going as a truck driver. Trump for life. Diesel is at $1.80-ish a gallon. It's great. Time to move cargo. Wow, man.
That's really cheap.
In the Midwest, it's like $1.70 for a gallon of gas.
I know, but diesel was used to be cheaper.
Then it was higher.
Then it went higher, and now it's that. I mean, that in general, that's really cheap. Hey, fair warning. A lot of people are trying to super chat the name.
Yeah, I don't
Voldemort.
know.
Voldemort's real name.
Oh, really?
So just fair warning.
Is it getting banned or something?
No, just be careful.
Right.
So you don't read it.
Yeah,
out
so
loud.
just so you guys know, if I say the name, this stream will probably just get turned off immediately.
Yeah, so
can't do
fair
that.
warning.
30 seconds later, it'll just go, and it'll be gone.
I've seen it. So just be
I've
careful.
seen it too.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen the name, so just be careful.
All right, let's see. We are getting absolutely inundated with these
Hey, thanks
these
for
super chats.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate you all.
And that was a big jump. We're gonna have to speed up in a little bit. I'm trying to figure. It's very difficult because when YouTube makes this big jump, I have no idea where we were.
Yeah, basically loads a big chunk of comments.
There we go.
Swim upstream.
All right, I found it. Joey Giggle says Trump is real and gets to the point. I don't like how all is handled, but we need to stop footing around, take care of us, and then move forward for sure. DJ, thanks for the super chat. K98 says, please look into the grand solar minimum, cosmic ray bombardment, rat and locust plagues, crop failures, etc. If model is correct, 30 plus years famines. You know, I will mention the good thing about that of Voldemort's last name is that it's so specific.
Yeah.
To actually say, it's very easy to spot before you read it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Aaron Garcia says, I work as a pumper in the oil field. Let me tell you, I'm addicted to Tim. Shout out to Lydia. Thanks for working the cameras and entertaining us in the chat. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Jacob says, Adam, that dog comment yesterday wasn't meant to offend you. Very few places eat them. You are passionate about veganism, and that's appreciable. Conviction is a dying trait, and I respect yours.
Thank you, mate.
Here, here. Appreciate you. Paul says, Macedonia for the Macedonians. Stop the Greek occupation and harassment of Macedonia and Macedonians. Macedonia for the Macedonians. I will also say of Adam that he is correct in your conviction. When Adam skates, committing is so when it comes to skating, there's a few factors in getting a trick. Committing to the trick is very, very serious, meaning like you're in the air, the board's flipping, and you have to focus and say, I'm going to do it. One of the biggest things that skateboarders will back away on is not committing to doing it, and they'll bail, meaning they'll kick their board away. Adam never bails. He commits to literally everything and then falls and gets back up and like, nope.
Yeah.
He would rather
Yeah, that's true.
take every risk to get it done and just slam. That's conviction.
It's true. Yeah.
You guys can see my skate videos. I skated professionally for Arbor Skateboards of California for a while and made a few videos for them. So, I mean,
That's
they're
the
kind of
style.
outdated. And I don't really skate longboards anymore. I started as a longboarder. Now I only classic skateboard, popsicle stick. And it's so addicting. Now, it's really hard to go to a longboard once you...
Yeah.
The
Skateboarding's fun.
techniques of, a shortboard is so much more fun, I think.
Skateboarding is super addicting
It is.
because it's actually really easy to get a new trick and a new accomplishment every day, and you get that dopamine release every time.
I got it a couple times a day.
Yeah,
Man,
yep.
I love that ramp. Oh,
We got a
so
little ramp
good.
in the back. Adam nailed a back disaster revert, which was perfect.
Yes.
Yep.
It's a good ramp.
All right, let's see where we at.
But thanks, Tim. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Caleb says the stream keeps blinking off and coming back on seconds later, completely skipping minutes of the convo. Happened twice. Love the stream. Keep it up. Really?
That sucks.
I don't know. It could be because there's some weird frequency issue going on. Andre says, check out Dave Rubin's tweeting, who insane, rep talking about removing people from their homes. Whoa, really? We need guns to protect ourselves. Who equals neo-Nazis? The World Health Organization has got a lot of criticism coming their way.
Yeah.
Tony L says, Tim, I just learned that Reporters Without Borders made a Minecraft server so they could get around the banning of news articles and such. I thought this was a cool thing to share. Yeah, that story's
I
really
heard about
awesome.
that. Yeah, it's
they
pretty
put
cool.
it in a Minecraft server.
Yeah.
Sean says, infection rate in New York has declined since March 19th. Yes.
Nice.
New York has been talking about social distancing is working.
That's great.
Yeah, and the numbers are going down. This is good news. I think we might get through this very early, much sooner than a lot of people thought.
Yeah.
We'll see, though, because it'll come back once we reopen things. What does it say? Keetoth says, here's to Lydia of Whiterun, sworn to carry our burden, for she is our sword and our shield, until she took an arrow to the knee.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Albie says, hi, all. Hope y'all are doing well. Idaho is shut down, and I can no longer go into work until further notice.
Wow.
Bummer. NA says, that is also the plot of Deus Ex. Why contain it? Mm-hmm. The Hazmat says, tried to watch one of those pro-China YouTubers, couldn't do it. Got an evil clone anti-Tim vibe, doesn't even have a beanie. Well, that's how you know it's evil.
Yeah.
There's no beanie, man.
Right.
Yeah, duh.
Oh, you can't do it. The Moen says, Tyson Foods has just shut down production facility. No. Several other large company food plants have been infected, but not yet shut down. Be aware. Oh, no. That means chicken.
Tendies.
You know, it's funny because we were talking about this too. Like, so many people are going to inadvertently become vegan.
Yep.
What food stores rice and beans store very, very easily?
What's perishable? Meat and dairy products.
Meat and dairy products.
Yeah.
It's very hard to store.
Yep.
There will be some salting, some jerking, some pickling,
Some what?
some jerking.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, jerked
Okay.
meat.
Jerk meat.
Yeah, like
They're
jerky.
we're gonna see people jerk meat.
I just wanted to hear you say
Like
it again because
crazy.
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
funny.
good. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just for the
Well, we gotta-
comments.
we
Hey! If there is naughtiness in your mind, it's on you, not me.
No, I don't know what Adam is talking about.
We have tons of jerky.
Yeah.
We've got variety of
There's vegan jerky too.
That's
vegan
true.
jerky.
Really good stuff.
the mushroom stuff is pretty good. It's like
Yeah.
pressed mushroom.
I've always loved jerky.
Gotta learn how to
For those
preserve
wondering, I
stuff.
wasn't always vegan. It's
No, but
probably
we
the past
but
5 years, I guess.
what did
4
everyone
years.
what there's two things that people bought. The New York Times wrote the bean industry is booming.
Yep.
And beans last for years,
Beans are
dried out
awesome.
in
Beans are the
bags.
best.
Yeah.
People are going to be eating beans and rice, man.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be inadvertently vegan.
Good stuff.
Here we go. Lucian says, hey, Tim, if you ever want to play an absolutely filthy commander deck, you need to make a goblin commander deck using Krenko Mob Boss.
Man.
I do. Yeah, well, I have Krenko in my Perforos, which is like a fairly stock Perforos, and it's pretty bonkers. It's a ridiculous deck.
His decks are bad enough. All right.
The power level
Don't give
is
him any
just
ideas.
wild.
Getting crazy. Johnny says, have you seen in Iceland they tested 5% of their population and they found 50% were asymptomatic? I think we've heard that from other countries too. A lot of people get it and they don't exhibit symptoms.
Yeah.
Hollow Man says, watch Demolition Man 1993, a funny look into our future. That's a good, I like it, yeah. All right, I'm going to start speeding things up, unfortunately, because we're getting absolutely inundated with super chats, but I appreciate all of you guys.
Much appreciated.
Chubby says, looking for good entertainment, check out Gravesend. Streaming on Amazon Prime, Mafia Drama. I love your podcast. Look forward to it every weekday. I don't wear beanies, but I'll buy a bunch. Well, once the quarantine is lifted, we're going to have beanies.
Once the store opens up that I found.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. Eliar Loaded says, have you looked into ID 2020 and Bill Gates' involvement in the virus? I'd like your take. I'm assuming you mean take on it. I'll check it out. I think, some people are posting on Twitter that Bill Gates has done this genuinely philanthropic thing trying to help assist. Mm-hmm. And because the internet has become such a pessimistic place, they assume there's something nefarious about it. Sometimes
it really is a pessimistic place.
It is, yeah, but yeah.
All right, we'll have to speed things up. Albie, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Ryan Stewart says, counter argument to term limits. If I want to keep Rand Paul in the Senate because I like him and his principles, why shouldn't the states have the right to elect who they want? It's a good point.
That is a good point.
Martin, thanks for joining. J. Max says, nothing has made me more libertarian than serving in the U.S. military. Starting my own business and having kids. Government can take care of the background stuff, but I don't count on people who don't know me to have my best interests in mind, for sure. Here we go. Max says, Pim Tool, Soy Jesus, disembodied goddess.
Yes.
Here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, we've had about 30 confirmed COVID-19, but my employer has already issued employees paperwork for any possibility of quarantine. Wow. Charles says, Republicans lead while Democrats rule. Big difference. Sean Ryan says, a YouTuber called Audioholics got COVID at the end of February and is still infected. Oh, wow. I don't think people are getting reinfected. I think they're staying infected.
That's a good point.
Oof. What if it's like a permanent thing? Some people just never get over it.
Until the vaccine hits. But
or some
isn't it doing damage on the lungs? It's like,
yeah.
And potential heart damage now they're saying.
Jeez, dude.
Great.
Yep. Callum says, my GF and I have been living at my grandparents' country farm for a month now, and y'all made us feel less weird for leaving a big city when we did. Keep on keeping on. I'm looking at farms right now. We're like, can we get into a farm?
Can I steal a farm?
Yep. The problem is internet. Getting good internet for a broadcast show.
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt of Mission Impossible says, Tim, what do you think about Dr. Cameron Kyle Siddell? He is saying something that other doctors here in Europe are exposing in social media, but then platforms are removing their content. Yep, because the social media platforms have a consensus, and there have been doctors and news stores which have been censored. Like the Washington Post talking about the lab in China got demonetized and confirmed, knocked down.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do if the Washington Post says it?
Yeah.
Cliff says, Trevor Noah is a really good stand-up comedian. Jim Jeffries used to be as well. It seems all these good comedians start becoming unfunny when they start following U.S. mainstream because they are bending the knee to woke authoritarianism, which just isn't funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Cool Core says, yesterday's cast, Adam said eating meat is bad, clogs arteries. That might be true. All bad and excessive. Doesn't soy lower your testosterone? No issue with you. Sis in her teen got face rash vitamin deficiency because cuz became vegan.
Well, I guess there's a few different things there. The last part is a lot of people don't realize what it takes to fuel the human body. There's a lot of nutrients that even non-vegans don't get very well. And, everyone has to find what they need for their own body, So if you're going to go vegan, you have to eat a lot more, for one. You have to, sometimes take supplements. And, it's different. And then the soy thing, it's like actually, Tim was telling me that soy products actually raise testosterone because
no.
there's less estrogen, or it's like a different kind of estrogen. Go ahead. You explain it better than I do.
I'm not a nutritionist.
Yeah.
But I was just reading it's phytoestrogen, I think, which is a weaker form that blocks the receptors. So the natural estrogens in your body do not hit the receptors.
Right.
And that actually lowers the effect of estrogen on your body.
Right, exactly. So this whole rumor is actually...
Well, it's a meme, Well, some people have tried to confirm it.
Right.
The reason why these soy boys at like BuzzFeed and stuff are low T is because they don't exercise.
Right.
They're not active.
Yeah, there's too much variables that aren't in any of the memes and the rumors and all this stuff. It's just like, I do it for me. I am healthy. I eat. I'm above my weight, actually, and I exercise and I do my own thing. So, is it your daughter? That is his daughter? You said
his sister.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so your sister, just do some research. It might not even just be the fact that she went vegan. It could be that she just wasn't getting the right nutrients after going vegan. You can't just eat, take the meat portion out and just keep eating that. You have to like amplify everything.
Yeah.
And find out what works for you. That's the key.
I think Rogan was talking about that actually. He said that there's like certain densities that you don't get outside of meat for certain nutrients.
Right.
So it's not just about eating something different. It's about eating more of things.
Yeah,
like
to,
certain things.
to make up for the lack of the nutrients you're no longer getting from meat sources or dairy sources.
This is a good opportunity to jump over to our next segment.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Here we go. Oh man, what a world we live in.
Oh boy.
2 fat professors, what they had to say that, are afraid of COVID-19 causing fat phobia. All right, first of all, let me just show you this from the CDC website. Groups at higher risk for severe illness. And you can see people with severe obesity, body mass index BMI of 40 or higher.
Well, 40 or higher. That's really severe.
It is.
That's
it's
severe.
Big.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
big. And so this are people who are at risk for COVID. So right now, we were talking about this and we were like, somebody's got to do a video on this
Yeah.
and just call out these body positivity obese people who have like, they've encouraged this bad behavior, which is now getting people sick and hurt. So here we have this story from April 5th. Campus Reform says, here's a picture, I guess. 2 University of Wisconsin lacrosse professors who call themselves the 2 fat professors.
Oh, that's literally
That's
what they call themselves.
There you
Oh.
go.
Yeah,
Are
so-
concerned that coronavirus is causing fat phobia. Darcy Thune, author of Am I Fat? You are. In the International Fat Studies Handbook. What?
Oh, there's
Recently-
fat studies. I forgot.
Yes.
Sorry.
Recently published a blog post on the website 2fatprofessors.com. The piece titled Diet Culture at the End of the World outlines Thune's opinion regarding weight gain during the COVID-19 crisis. To their credit, they will to a certain degree survive longer than say like the soy boys because of the energy stored in their body,
Yeah.
but they're going to be out of shape.
You can't run.
So, right. So, when the critters, the large beasts come hungry, they're going to find 2 plump, slow. But here's the good news. Can I say a bad joke, an off-color joke?
Yes.
The good news is that you don't have to run faster than the bear. You just have to run faster than the 2 fat professors.
Yeah.
That's true.
All I can think of is every zombie movie. There's always that big,
slow
big
person.
zombie
Yeah.
or the big person, and they're like, well, the zombies will get that person, and they do
Okay, here we go. They say,
every time.
Thune wrote her piece, Diet Culture at the End of the World, in response to the many number of posts that have popped up on her social media sites addressing fears about weight gain. According to the professor, these posts shame viewers for not going to the gym, for eating too much, for getting fat, and for not starving ourselves at the end of the world, and are representative of a problematic diet culture. The blog post repeatedly refers to those who are cognizant of their weight as part of a diet culture. Thune criticizes those who speak out against weight gain and characterize it as dangerous, saying they feed into a system of fat phobia that oppresses and abuses so many. Oh, man. I think the author is portraying something that isn't an issue. Brandon Misich, a sophomore at UW Lacrosse and Campus Reform correspondent, told Campus Reform, "You know why I take the biggest issue with these of all of the SJW weirdos?
Please.
It's a choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was watching, there's a commercial that airs on Fox all the time, and it's like, are you overweight and struggling? It may actually be due to a condition called insulin resistance. And if you take this medication or whatever, and I'm like, that just means you eat too much sugar.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I watched this show. I can't remember what it was, but there was this woman who was really overweight, and all of these people kept saying that the reason they were overweight was because of genetics.
Right.
And they were adamant they didn't even eat that much. And so they were asked, like, how often do you eat? And they wrote down, like, for breakfast I have this, for lunch I have this, for dinner I have this.
Now, how often do they exercise?
No. Hold on.
Go on.
Yeah.
In what they wrote down, they said, like, for breakfast I have, like 2 eggs and like some toast and a bowl of oatmeal. For lunch I have a sandwich, and for dinner I have a small light, dinner. And so looking at it, they're like, see, it's only 1,700 calories. It must be genetic. So they filmed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what?
They ate all the time.
Non-stop. All day they were eating.
Yep.
They would be like, they would eat their breakfast, just like they said.
Yep.
And then like half an hour later, they'd walk in the kitchen and grab like a bag of chips and just start eating chips.
Yep.
And then they'd have lunch, like they said, and they would walk in the kitchen and grab some snacks and some cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And they were confronted, and the doctors were like, "This is what you said you ate today." And like, right. And they're like, "What about all of this?" And they showed the videos, and they're like, "I was just snacking."
Oh.
And they were like, "You snacked like 2,000 calories."
Yeah.
Like each of those cookies was like 100 calories.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh."
No way. The snacks have calories?
I know. Who knew?
You know what, man?
Oh man, that's funny.
Here's look, I'm all about freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Sure.
If you want to eat cookies all day, do it with my blessing. I do not care. But the people who want to call you an oppressor because you don't eat cookies all day,
Right.
or because you would tell someone I'm concerned about your health, these people are insane. So there are like there is going too far. For instance, Milo Yiannopoulos fat shamed a guy at the gym,
Yeah, that's
and I'm
rude.
like, what?
Why would you do that?
Dude's
Yeah,
at
that's
the gym.
He's actually working out, trying to better himself.
Yeah, you should have taken
Yeah.
a picture with him and been like, this guy's doing it right.
Exactly.
This guy's,
Nice.
he's doing no,
Right.
Yeah.
and whatever. But then there's the inversion, which is she's claiming it's a weird diet culture, shaming people for not going to the gym.
It's so weird.
Go for a walk, man. Breathe some air outside.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's
does
really,
wonders.
what's really cool right now about the shutdown is the air is so clean.
It's nice.
Dude, we were looking outside in the backyard and we were like, whoa, look at all the stars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. Could that be because like Philly has no smog right now?
Yeah, maybe.
So nice.
Yeah. You can actually see
Probably.
stars.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's still light pollution, but it's like all clear.
It is crazy the amount of stars that I can see outside.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Shall we get to the conspiracy theory?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Are you all ready for this? Wait till you see just how deep this fat conspiracy goes.
Oh man.
Now,
I don't even know if we, said it was a conspiracy, but
I'm
It
just
is now.
it's a conspiracy.
I'm just putting on a show, buddy. You just,
I know, it's great.
getting
It's
the
wonderful.
theatrics going.
It's great.
I'll take
Now,
it.
I myself enjoy a good pint of Ben and Jerry's.
Heck
They
yeah.
they've actually got an almond milk version now. It is vegan, and there is the delicious creamy. And there's what the craziest one they have is
What?
the core. You ever see the core Ben and Jerry's?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Don't they have a social justice one too?
It's disgusting, dude. We
Well, that's not really surprising though, is it?
it was spicy brownies.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we got it, and I'm like, I'll try.
Spicy brownies.
I was like, I want to try the Justice Remix, and I ate it, and I'm like, why is my ice cream spicy?
So you think it's sweet, but then
But
when you
it's
try it, it's actually really fiery
and you know what? It says spicy on it, right?
oh, funny,
But this core one they have, it's liquid brownie batter in the middle. It's
Okay.
just like
liquid.
it's like kind of frozen.
Okay.
But
Stays
yeah,
kinda,
it's
yeah,
like it's like
soft.
batter. So you're injecting sugar straight into your veins.
Yes.
Never have I encountered a dessert so insanely fattening.
You know what? I'm not that big of a sweet kind of a person. I don't do sweets very often. I like savory stuff more.
Well, but the conspiracy.
yeah, sure.
We enjoy Ben and Jerry's. But
I
we'll
know
move on,
you
hold on.
you guys were sitting there geeking out on ice
Yeah,
cream.
man.
I figured
All right.
I'd have
Awesome.
some to say.
Check us out.
Oh boy.
What do we see? Okay, you can't really
yeah.
see it, but you can see right here. What does that say?
Can you go over to the side?
Ben and Jerry's
Yeah.
parent. It says Unilever, a
Unilever.
British-Dutch transnational consumer goods company. They're the parent company for Ben and Jerry's.
I wonder who else they're a parent
Now
company
hold on.
for.
Hold on. Do you remember the Real Beauty campaign, which is one of the first campaigns about being proud to be fat?
Oh yeah,
By Dove Toiletries,
Dove,
the soap
yeah.
company.
I
Very
do
nice.
remember that.
Yeah.
Now, who owns Dove?
Oh, I don't
Dun,
know.
dun,
Tell me, Timothy.
Unilever.
What?
Conspiracy
Dun,
theory.
dun, dun.
Yep.
The parent company knows that they've got a bunch of fat women who eat their ice cream, who feel bad when they use beautiful, skinny models. So how do you keep them buying your soap and buying your ice cream? Real Beauty campaign.
Yep.
Dove comes out, shows all these plus-size models, and then sells them Ben and Jerry's. I know, I'm kidding. I really don't think it's a conspiracy. I think Dove... you know what I think is really happening? Americans are just typically fat. Like 40% of Americans are overweight.
Yeah.
And so the reason why you're seeing fat superheroes, mostly women, like it's like really fat female superheroes, is because they're trying to cater to the people who are fat.
Seems like it.
So it's really this simple. If 10% of your population is fat, it's a small market share. And so people aren't going to market to them because it's not a path towards a successful business. When 40% of your population are, don't be surprised when these fat professors come out and start saying that like you're fat phobic and you're an oppressor. The reason why so many feminists are agreeing with it is because they're fat. They're fat and they want an excuse for why they don't have to be responsible for their weight. But I'll make sure it's clear. I don't care if you want to eat pizza and ice cream all day and you get fat. I care that you're trying to claim I'm oppressing you by not doing that or by encouraging healthier living.
Right. That's a problem.
Yeah. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, this made me really mad when I was losing weight because they were turning me into some kind of oppressor because I was actually trying to lose weight and actually kind of succeeding at it slowly. It's a very slow process. It requires a lot of adjustment and it requires a lot of like going against the grain because all of these people will tell you you're being oppressed if you're trying to lose weight, or worse yet, you are oppressing other people.
I think it's really simple. I think we used to have a culture of striving to be better.
Yeah.
Now we're a culture of participation trophies.
Yeah, no.
Striving to be mediocre.
Yeah.
It's not just that, it's like what they're saying is literally a participation trophy.
Striving to be comfortable.
Think about what a participation trophy is. Just for showing up, you get an award.
It's not even just that. It's like striving to be a victim. You're trying to be the bottom of the totem pole. And then you'll get all these points and this sympathy, and you really, I mean, you've overcome a lot or whatever, or you've had a lot stacked up against you.
What a weird pendulum swing.
So strange to me.
I agree.
Remember when Barack Obama said the American dream is to beat Donald Trump?
I do remember that.
It was he said that, right?
I think he did.
could
Lots
be wrong.
of rappers did. I remember that.
Let's see if you can look it up because it might just be a
check.
meme that someone made
No,
up.
he's in. There's a bunch of songs talking about
Trump.
being rich
I
as
want to be
Trump.
like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's the
Did
American
did
dream.
Obama say it?
Oh, I don't know if Obama said it, but I have
Now
heard
it's
it before.
now it's like I listen. It really is. I mean, not only is he a billionaire, but he became the president.
I know. It's like,
Like, say whatever you want about the guy.
where does he
but-
go from here?
Yeah, right.
So
To Mars.
Snopes is calling this a mixture.
Oh, which means it's true.
Oh, I don't.
Yes.
Wait, you actually use and trust Snopes?
Well, it was the first thing that came up, so I was like,
Snopes.
eh,
All
right,
why
what-
not?
what do they
Here
say?
comes
Nope.
Snopes. Nope.
Are they going to do the meme?
Oh, let's see. Thanks, Obama.
They're going to say mixture. While
Wait.
it is true, he did say it. The image that was used in the meme is not true.
They do start one of their sentences while, which
Oh,
makes me
you
think, yeah, the
really?
final sentence is, while some of these articles clarified Obama's meaning in the text, the headline claims presented were a mischaracterization of their argument.
So he said it.
Pretty sure he said it. I'm pretty
There you go,
sure.
Snopes. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
He didn't say it while eating ice cream.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
really that's the
But what's
ticket.
the context they're trying to bring up? Like, Obama was insulting Trump or something?
As one example of this pragmatic approach, Obama suggested reframing the quest for racial equality as part of the American concept of equality and opportunity.
What?
I don't understand what they're trying to say.
Snopes is just
They're
doing
writing
Snopes.
poorly, and I hate them.
So
for it.
we get it, Snopes. He did say
He
it.
did definitely say
All
it.
right, there we go.
I don't know.
So yeah, you can be a rich guy like Trump, and they hate him, and they're the antithesis.
Yeah.
They strive to be bad at everything. It's incredible.
And are proud of it, though.
Well,
That's the weird part.
We used to have superheroes
Why
that
are
were
you
the
so
cream.
proud of being bad
I know.
That's
or fat?
Well, they put it in their
It's
profile.
not healthy.
They're like, I'm disabled and I'm poor and
Yep.
I'm this and this and I'm on food stamps or whatever. And I'm like, what is there to be proud of here? What are you talking about?
you know what's funny though.
I want your sympathy.
So
That's what I'm seeing.
You had
Yeah.
fascists in Europe that were like uber men supremacist types that were like everyone must be this perfect way. Now you have an inversion of that where they're like we're all pathetic losers with brain problems and we're overweight and victims. And when you get a regular person saying like I'm really sorry that's happening, perhaps you could try exercise.
Yeah,
I hear
here,
it
try
helps.
this. Yeah.
And they call you a fascist now.
Yep.
Because to them, you being a regular person advocating for healthier living and exercise is like the same distance from a regular person to the fascist. You know what I mean?
Basically.
Like they've pendulum swung so far to the direction.
Yep.
A regular person saying, "Would you like to go for a walk with us?" How dare you?
You know I cannot walk more than to my car
Or
anymore.
my fridge. Yeah.
Now they have rascals at Walmart.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. We got these wheelchairs at Walmart. So like your leg was broken,
Right.
Or you were old. We'll help you out. And
Not
now
every
it's-
single time I've ever seen someone use it, it's a fat person.
Yeah.
It's true. Maybe once I saw like an old guy using it and I was like, word.
Yeah.
But
Cool, man.
but hold on.
I get it.
You know what? I look. That was supposed to be for somebody who was disabled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I still really don't care if it's a fat person riding around that.
Yeah,
thing.
that's true. I don't either.
I'm
It's-
like, do your
it's
thing,
there.
whatever, man.
If you
I
can't
might use
walk
it.
and you need it,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
sure.
That's what it's for.
But
we
these,
should be allowed to say it's not healthy.
sure.
It's not healthy.
But this but even that, it's like I don't need to go around telling every fat person to lose weight.
Did you take the presidential fitness test in school?
No, what? Oh,
That-
maybe.
So that was a thing when I was in school, when I was younger. You'd take a physical fitness test, and it was like the presidential standard, and you would be compared across every school in America. It was this thing, back in the 90s. And I don't know, I was, they'd take your body mass, the weight. What is it?
Yeah, they pinch your arm or whatever.
BMI.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you would see how you rated, if you were above or below average and whatnot. And it's like they stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Why? Why did they stop doing that? Because we don't care about if our kids are healthy anymore? Like
Participation trophy era, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
So these are people who think that they're being victims because they eat too much. Like, dude, no.
That is the opposite of a problem.
It's like, if you want to talk about racism, dude, I'm down. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
There are some people who are just bigots.
Definitely.
Racism is a big problem.
You can't change your race.
Yeah.
There are things that you can't change, and you don't deserve.
Well, there are some people. South Park did an episode about this. I'll avoid getting us in trouble on YouTube. But anyway.
Don't get us in trouble.
Sean King?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he just claims it and then.
I mean.
But everybody hates that guy.
That's fair.
You know what? It's called like thin privilege.
Thin privilege?
The funny thing is,
There's
this.
all sorts of privilege.
Right.
They keep tacking
They
on
don't know
more.
what the word means.
I know,
Thin
right?
privilege. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah. Actually, I think what these
Huh.
people are experiencing is fat privilege.
I think you're right.
So
Hmm.
they can eat whatever they want, whenever they want.
Yep.
They're not responsible for their own health.
They only have to buy one airplane seat. I don't get it.
Yep.
I know,
they
right?
want us to pay for their health care,
Yes.
and then they claim to be the victims. Talk about privilege.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
look,
that's
I-
exactly what privilege looks like. Yeah.
I'd love to sit around doing nothing but eat cheesecake all day. Actually, that's not true. It would not be. It would not feel good.
No, that doesn't sound good to me.
I can't. I think one of the issues is with a lot of people who are overweight.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the problem is that they're trapped in an addiction cycle, because eating too much doesn't feel good. But I will tell you, if I eat too much, I can't skate.
Right.
It's like, oh man, I can't move.
Right.
And then you end up not skating. So you have to like eat only a little, then you can skate. You feel real good. You get that, you get a runner's high if you're running or whatever. You get the dopamine from accomplishing your goals. And then exercise actually suppresses your appetite. So you get trapped in the cycle where you're eating and it makes you feel bad and you don't want to get up and move around, and then you just feel bad.
So you eat more.
Yeah. Well, this is a good opportunity to segue over to the next intersectional. You want to rag on Birds of Prey?
Of course.
I mean, it falls right in line, doesn't
It
it?
sure
Yeah.
does.
It's like
Go.
it's glorifying. What is it?
Mediocrity?
I guess mediocrity.
Yeah.
Glorifying mediocrity. Well, so the next segment we have is Birds of Prey. Kathy Yan says undue expectations for Birds of Prey were an extra burden on her.
Oh no.
Is that why the movie did bad?
Sympathy.
Did it make money?
It did.
I
Made
don't
some.
Do you want to look up the?
It didn't do
you want to pull up the
zero.
Wikipedia for it so we can see what its box office results
Yeah,
were?
it did not do $0.
I think it
which
was a
is
flop
good.
though, because the marketing budget was really, really high. So here's what's bounding into comics reports. Kathy Yan spoke on the performance of her big studio debut, Birds of Prey, which floundered in its opening weekend and swiftly made it to digital VOD in the wake of the ongoing pandemic.
nice way of putting
Oh, that's
it.
not fair, though.
It had nothing to do with the pandemic. It was going straight to video.
Right.
No,
exactly.
It was the
That's why it's not fair. I just
All right.
want to
Yeah,
clarify.
Yeah, let's clear that up.
I hope by now none of you have. I normally would say, like, by now you've probably seen this movie. No, most of you probably haven't, but you never cared about spoilers anyway, so this movie was awful.
Don't go see it. It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
You can't now anyway, right?
No, you can't. Yeah, we're
I
all
don't
we're all
think you
we're all
can.
in
Well, now it's on video, isn't it? Didn't they? I'm sure you can download. No, I've seen it on.
Oh, yeah, I have
seen it
Amazon.
on Amazon.
Something you can
Yeah.
download it. It's like, don't waste your money.
Don't do it.
Here we go. You ready for this?
Okay,
Don't do
we're
it.
ready.
She told The Hollywood Reporter, everyone was pretty quick to jump on a certain angle after the film's lack of success, and added she had an extra burden on her as a woman of color.
Oh, okay.
She said, quote, "Yeah, I think that if you actually look at the details of the budget breakdown, I know that the studio had really high expectations for the movie, as we all did. There were also undue expectations on a female-led movie, and what I was most disappointed in was this idea that perhaps it proved that we weren't ready for this yet. That was an extra burden that, as a woman of color director, I already had on me anyway. So yes, I think there were certainly different ways you could interpret the success or lack of success of the movie, and everyone has a right to do that. But I definitely do feel that everyone was pretty quick to jump on a certain angle." You know what's
It's like
funny?
she's covering her bases.
Well, this is absolutely in line with the previous segment we just did on over obese people and fat body positivity stuff. A refusal to accept responsibility for your failure.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
She doesn't want to
The
say
movie sucked.
Yes,
Right.
it did. Accept
There you
it.
go.
She doesn't want to say
Thanks,
it.
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
hanging out, everybody. It's been fun. We're good to go. Yeah, the movie sucked.
It did. It was a bad movie. And you know, I wanted it to be good. I went into this watching it thinking, please be good. Please be.
know.
I was like, you know, I didn't mind Suicide Squad. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, I went in
agree.
thinking this might be entertaining. And I was just like, I don't understand how. And it just got worse and worse and worse as the movie went on.
Well, a really good example of one of these weird things they did was the women were kind of frumpy.
Right.
So there was one scene where Huntress is looking in the mirror trying to like say her name, and it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is very attractive, but they dress her down and they made her look bad. It's like, look, any person who wakes up and rolls out of bed is not going to look good.
Right.
Everyone, will trim their beard. Like every man will, well, not every man, but
Whoa. I don't trim my beard.
you don't trim.
It comes and then I get rid of it.
You just get
Comes and
That's how I
goes.
do it. That's
All
how I
right.
do it.
All right. Yeah.
Well, the point is people groom themselves.
That's true. Yes, we do.
Whoa. Hold on. No, I don't.
Oh. Okay.
Everybody takes care of themselves to some
Whoa.
degree.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to
All
egg
right.
you on.
But in this movie, they have this scene where Huntress is like rolled out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was strange because, there's actually a photo set this woman did. And I don't think it was like a feminist thing, but she took pictures of people and then took pictures of them with like pushing out their guts and like mashing their chins and making nasty faces.
Yeah.
So that people can see like how you can make someone look really good with proper angles.
Right.
I did one photo shoot for a magazine and it was so incredibly painful. Have you had those experiences with photo shoots where they're like, arch your back this way, put your arm like this, now don't move for 20
I feel
minutes?
Like Adam probably has, right?
I've been wearing a wool suit in 110-degree weather, and I've also been soaking wet on a glacier.
Whoa.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm told not to be in a sled while snow was being thrown at me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I've had both extremes. Yeah, it exists. It sucks to devote yourself for the role that you're hired for.
Well, so what they did in this
work, yeah.
movie was, so they get, I'm not trying to be mean to these women, okay? I'm just trying to point out the reason why we choose escapism, why we go into fictional fantasy worlds is to live better, to experience things that we can't normally experience. So when we play video games, when we read comics, when we watch movies, we want to see the super ripped Captain America guy jumping off a building, falling 20 stories, and then rolling out of it and going like, oh, and he's showing how strong he is.
Right.
There's a thing they describe in comics like Batman. He has no superpowers, but he has peak human efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's the best a human could possibly be.
Yep.
Right.
And we like that. He's
Yep.
achieved some greatness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I really like in comics is I like characters who don't have powers, who have earned it, who are extremely skilled, have technology. I like Iron Man. I like Batman.
Yeah.
And what I like about the MCU is a lot of the characters just have technology.
That's true. Yeah.
So
War Machine also.
Yep. Falcon,
Black Widow.
Black Widow, Hawkeye.
Yep.
They're regular people.
Yeah.
And they're superheroes.
That's a good point. I really like
I like
that
it.
too.
I do.
Yeah.
And some of them have powers.
Mm-hmm.
And like Watchmen was cool. It was basically about, well, not the new one, but the movie and the comic, it's about people who are superheroes and they just wear masks and fight. So that's cool that we're looking at the best a human could possibly be. Birds of Prey was not that. It was frumpy, overweight, out of shape, failures.
Well, I was watching this movie and I was like, well, they're making me feel better about how I look when I get up in the morning, but that's not what I'm here for. Like, I can just look in the mirror.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, do we have a superhero movie with a bunch of fat dudes? Like out of shape men who can't run very fast?
Only-
The Blob was a bad guy,
But-
in the X-Men universe.
Yeah. But
That's the only
but
one
that
I
was a
can think
mutant.
of.
That was
wasn't a
mut-
hero
That was a
though.
mutant power.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like he was indestructible, apparently.
Well, nobody liked Thor when he was overweight.
Right? Why would they?
Yeah. Everyone
That's a good
complained.
point. They tried to do
I
that.
don't know
Yeah.
why they did that.
Yep.
And
they
it's
complained
not-
at Thor.
Some people said it was actually cool, and there's a good point that with
I didn't mind it.
with the dreadlocks,
Yeah.
it actually looked more like a real
Norse god?
Norse
Yeah.
Viking would actually look.
That's fair.
Instead of like this weird vanity muscle we do for Hollywood.
Well, it really just looked like he let himself go. And that's what was happening in the film because he blamed himself, so he let himself go.
Yeah.
Right. It was
like
it was actually part of the plot.
Long curly hair, dreads naturally. I have long curly hair, and I've got dreads in my hair sometimes that I need to get rid of. As I said, I don't really take care of my hair. I just kind of shove it in this beanie, and that's it. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's almost
happens
like
naturally.
we've talked about it before. They tried to do like a female Deadpool.
Right.
it's-
You were saying that.
They make these choices where they feel morally justified in making unentertaining and unappealing content.
I wanted this. I still want this movie to be better than it was. Because I actually think of all the movie, was her name Margot Robbie?
Yeah.
She's the main character. She did great. I thought she could be a female Deadpool if they did it correctly, but they didn't do it correctly. They made it all like cheesy instead of like gritty. Like I wanted it to be gritty Gotham. It was Gotham.
Bubblegum.
I honestly just realizing that was Gotham. Like what? Wait a minute. It's like daytime Gotham. Like
Dude,
that's why it doesn't make sense.
The movie is just bad. Like
I wanted grittiness, man.
Full on Huntress made no sense.
Yeah.
The costumes were like low budget trash.
Yeah.
They so apparently the short fat little Asian girl was Cassandra Cain, who's supposed to be Batwoman, and this actually
Wait, seriously?
Batgirl or something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
And it offended a ton of like SJW type comic fans
Okay.
because Cassandra Cain is, as I think Batwoman, has a mental illness.
Okay.
Or is like neuroatypical. And so they basically removed her and created this chubby little Asian girl who in no way is Batwoman. And people were angry saying
What is
they
that?
just ableist washed or whatever they call it. There's no way. Look, they think they're morally justified in making bad content with frumpy characters that are unappealing because it's morally right. No, dude. I want to see a dude who's like doing stupid things like Fast and the Furious. I want to see The Rock hold a helicopter by a chain and a car and go, and pull the helicopter off from a cliff.
Yeah.
So, like, see I'm talking about?
It's silly.
It's ridiculous. Or Captain America holding the helicopter in Winter Soldier.
Less silly.
It's still silly. It's so silly.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be. It's a movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to make them, busty, big titty, women in skimpy clothes.
Right.
But the way they did it was like, it looked like they rolled out of bed to like make a point about beauty or something.
Yeah.
I actually really don't want people who look just like me. I don't want it to be relatable. I went for a story, something different and interesting.
In Deadpool, you had that dude who was friends with him. I'm talking about TJ Miller, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Is that his name? And he was like a crusty bartender.
Right.
It's
Oh, yeah.
fine if somebody is the character is meant to be gross or whatever.
Right.
But that makes you kind of look down upon them. You hold them in a certain light.
Right. Exactly.
Like Deadpool is gross and funny, and he gets like bullet holes through him, and you don't actually see him, but he's just in a costume. Why would like the people we're supposed to be rooting for be degenerate, filthy, mongrel types? It doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It can work, but it's so thick what they've done. I was watching and I'm like, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. And they even mentioned, and I feel like there was at some point they talked about how they didn't want to make them attractive. Like,
Did they have a reason?
why? Because it's feminism.
Something about the male gaze, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh my
patriarchy.
gosh, you're not gonna get anybody's gaze if they're straight.
Well, it was rated R, so that you couldn't get young girls. Even though I saw in all the malls when I was like in like the young, clothing shops,
Hot
the
topic.
exact same outfits that are skimpy and small, and it's like, but it's a rated R film. Who is your demographic? Who? Like, if you're
Frumpy feminists on Twitter.
well, no wonder it bombed.
Yeah.
That's a small window. I'm not saying
Right.
anything about those people, but it's like if that's all you're catering to, and you're expecting the
Dude.
comic book Batman, like the Joker fans, that's not what this movie was. It was not for them.
Have you ever seen the episode of South Park where the hippies throw a festival in South Park?
I don't think so.
Have you
no.
seen this?
I don't know. I don't recall.
So hippies start showing up to South Park, and Cartman freaks out, and he tries to go and exterminate the hippies or something ridiculous.
Oh.
He gets arrested.
Okay.
The people who are running the city are permitting the hippie jam fest. They eventually realize the hippies are overrunning everything, and there's too many of them, and they go and talk to Cartman about like, why are you trying to get rid of the hippies? And he was like, don't you understand? They're going to take over, and they're going to have a hippie festival that'll last forever. And the mayor goes, that'll be great. We could use the extra money. And he goes, hippies don't have money. And so that's what I see here. They make a movie catering to a tiny fringe sect of weirdos on the internet
Yeah.
who don't care to actually see the movie. And then they wonder why no one sees it.
Yeah.
They think Twitter is real life, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. Thank
It is
God.
not.
Oh, thank God.
No. Yeah, real people are like, what did I just watch? Like, we
Yeah.
walked out confused, like, do I ask for my money back?
Yes.
Can we make the box office numbers go down after the fact?
No.
I've actually tried
unfortunately.
getting my money back after seeing a movie.
How'd that
and
work?
they told me to F off.
Oh.
And I was like, but the movie was bad. And they were like, yep, lots of movies are bad. I was like, yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
point.
It's
Whatever.
Like,
Okay.
you got me there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this was definitely, I mean, the scene where she like squats on the roller skates and then Banshee screams at her butt and it projects her forward. What were they thinking with this, man?
Oh my gosh.
It was really silly.
It was awful.
But not silly in a good way.
No, I know you're right.
You know, like there
Silly.
was one scene where Harley drop kicks a dude.
Okay.
It's badass.
There
When she's fighting.
there was a slim couple times where it's a cool fight scene.
Yep.
Like the evidence lockup.
Exactly. That's
that-
what she does. She drop kicks the guy, and I'm like, that's cool.
Oh man, that might be the only good fight scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So they definitely tried doing like the Harley's gymnastic, acrobatic ability in fights and stuff. It just didn't work out. Like when she raids the police department,
Yeah.
nothing
And
made
she's
sense.
shooting everyone with glitter bombs,
Why were they
And
trying to
nobody-
make it for little kids but rated R?
and nobody shot back at her.
Yeah. In a
They were
police
like,
station.
"Who's this person in the police station?" Oh, glitter bomb.
It was rated R. She should have just used regular bullets.
I agree.
Instead, it was
And
like
killed people.
glitter bombs.
It's like what?
I understand they're trying to go for the Harley, aesthetic, laughing gas, glitter bombs, and bean bags and all that silliness.
That just
Just doesn't work.
kind of makes me feel like they're infantilizing women.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I thought it was terrible. Well,
Me too.
how about we do one more and we talk about Jack Dorsey real quick.
Yes,
yeah.
I do want to talk
Got a
about
minute?
this. This is awesome.
Because we'll get to the super chats next. We'll probably go a little bit longer than we usually do.
Yeah.
But this is actually a really cool story.
This is worth talking about, for
and
sure.
I think Jack is an okay dude.
Yeah.
My respect to him.
I mean, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. This is the first thing that I know about him, other than the fact that he started Twitter. That's it.
Jack Dorsey is not Mark Zuckerberg, right? So Mark runs Facebook. For all of their problems, it comes down to Mark Zuckerberg. Jack Dorsey was fired from Twitter a long time ago. They brought him back, and I am convinced he's not very active. He's the CEO of Square and Twitter, but I really doubt he's involved in Twitter. Like he's probably to a certain degree, but people are always tweeting at Jack when something bad happens on Twitter, and they're blaming him for it. And I think you can criticize him because if he wants to be the face of the company and be the CEO, then he has to expect people will criticize him for sure. But I don't think he really has anything to do with it. So CNBC reports Twitter CEO set aside $1 billion in Square equity for charity coronavirus relief. Hey man,
That's
how much is too much?
That is incredible. That's. I mean, for the billionaires, for the 0.1%, I believe, right? Exactly. For that small little sliver
0.01%.
of human beings that have that amount of wealth, if they could even spend it in their lifetime, I don't even know if it's possible. But for this man to give up almost a third of it,
Yeah,
just
$1 billion.
just to help everyone, that's props to this dude, man. That's amazing.
We'll grab the context and then we'll talk about it. They say Square and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey said Tuesday he will set aside $1 billion in his Square equity to support relief efforts for COVID-19 and other causes once the pandemic is over. In a series of tweets, Dorsey said that after the pandemic is over, he will dedicate the money to causes like universal basic income and girls' health and education. He said he's pulling the shares from his stake in Square instead of Twitter because he owns more stock in Square. Dorsey said he'll cash in the shares over time. The impact of this money, the impact this money will have should benefit both companies over the long term because it's helping the people we want to serve. Dorsey said that he wants to see the impact of his donation during his lifetime and that the needs are increasingly urgent. He also said he hopes it will inspire others to do something similar.
That's the others I was talking about. The others who have that don't need it.
First, there's his choices. There's politics in this for sure. He's a
True.
lefty dude. The
Of
girls and
course.
women's education stuff.
Yeah.
But look, if some dude makes a ton of money and then wants to donate it to whatever cause they want to, I really
It's
don't.
his choice.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
welcome to capitalism. He's got the money. He can spend it how he
Yep.
sees fit. But there was this funny meme where I guess Bill Gates donated 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, Bill Gates is worth, what is he worth, like 60, 70 billion dollars or something?
Yeah.
And he gives away like
70 billion. Is that the number?
I don't know. Can you look up what Bill Gates' net worth is?
Man.
But a lot more than Jack Dorsey.
Right.
So
50 million is like chump change for someone like him.
Jack Dorsey is a pretty lefty dude. And I think there's a lot of people like him that are good spirited,
Okay.
misguided perhaps, and that can lead to really negative things. You know, they say the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yep.
This I dig. This I think is respectable because I remember seeing like Oprah, for instance, giving out cars. And everyone's like, oh, that's so amazing. Oprah's giving everybody cars and all that stuff. And it's like, she's not giving anybody anything, dude.
Yeah.
The car company's doing it. It's a promo. They're using her show to market a product.
Yep. Now everyone's going to be driving around in that
No, they
car.
had to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people had like a tax liability of like $5,000 or some ridiculous number they couldn't pay. And so they were like selling them. But it's not just that. She's a billionaire. So when she gives away like, you know, a couple $100,000, it's like, it is a lot of money. I get it. But relative to how much she's earned,
right?
You know, when I see somebody who's making minimum wage give up like $100 a week, then that's legit. That's like a huge portion of your income. It's probably irresponsible. So they say Dorsey said he wants to see the impact of his donation during his lifetime, and that the needs. Oh, I read that. Dorsey also tweeted a link to a public Google Doc where people can track which organization the fund's money will go to.
That's surprising and awesome.
Seriously.
Like you can actually check it out.
That's cool.
Dorsey isn't the only technologist to fund coronavirus relief efforts, though he's doing it on a big scale. Amazon's Jeff Bezos has said he is donating $100 million to U.S. food banks. Now stop right there for a second. Bezos has shares. His access is like 130 billion or something ridiculous number. Dorsey 3. So I'll give some respect to Jack Dorsey.
Yeah.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla donated $25 million towards creating treatments for coronavirus through their philanthropic organization, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. And the Bill Gates Foundation has said it will spend billions to fight coronavirus, according to the Wall Street Journal. Jack Dorsey has done way more than anyone else in regards to actually, you know, doing right by this. And having met the guy and talked to him, I think there are issues with Twitter. I think he absolutely needs to step up. I don't know if he can. I think he's more of a figure, like I said, like a mascot.
Yeah.
The criticism for him, if he wants to be the CEO, is legit. But this is cool. I mean, how many people are willing to give up that 30% of their total net worth when there's like a real emergency or something?
I mean, probably the ratio is really small because 30% of your net worth for most people is like they would go bankrupt. You know,
most people already are negative.
Exactly.
So
most people are negative. Exactly. In debt from something. You know,
I was reading this. I think it was from like Forbes.
Okay.
And it was talking about the net worth of people based on age.
Okay.
29 was when their net worth went positive. $1,000 on average. Like if you're 29, your net worth is like $1,000.
Wow.
And it's mostly because of college, or just because a lot of young people don't have money.
Right.
But yeah, from like 18 until 28, negative net worth. And then, you know, you enter 30, now you have $1,000, and at 31, you've got like $7,000. And then by the time they're 40, they have like $50,000. So after all of these years of working, they finally flip it positive.
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey, how old is that guy? He's like, is he 40, I think?
Yeah, he looks like he could be 40.
Questions.
Yeah. And so he started a bunch of companies. He made a bunch of money. And 43. Mm-hmm. So his net worth is certainly higher than a lot of people. Now, this will be interesting because he might say he wants to do a bunch of good things with this, but what do you think happens when you just pour money out a window, right? Reminds me of that Family Guy episode where Peter gets in the blimp with Brian and they dump bags of money into the football stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen that episode.
And then everyone starts fighting over it and hitting each other, and it causes chaos and pandemonium. So what happens now with him giving up this wealth? Like, will it work? I don't know. And where's it going to go? What organizations? Maybe we can actually just pull up the Google Doc. Is this going to...
Yeah, it looks like it's got a...
Oh.
Hey, there we go.
Look at that.
So America's Food Fund. Oh, I guess, no, he's choosing, but you can watch what he's done with it.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
So it's there. And it's, well, it's the Google Doc. The numbers are there.
See, maybe this will actually help people understand how stock works. Maybe they'll understand liquid cash or something. I don't know. Maybe not. Because he set aside $1 billion worth of the value. How many shares is that?
No idea.
Is he doing it by value or doing it by share?
Look, current share price is $50.
Yep.
Oh, that's a lot of shares.
So he set aside.
Oh, and then it says number of shares to be transferred, almost 20,000, 19,833. Oh, no, that's
No,
19
million.
million. Sorry, I thought that was a point.
period.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
19 million shares,
So
800.
what happens? What happens now if, because he's dumping these stocks, people start selling Square,
Yeah, is a stock in a tank?
and then it's like all of a sudden now the current value is only 200 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it might not take. It might go up, but him selling 20 million shares, yeah, that typically is going to drop the price substantially.
That's tricky. Yeah.
So I'm not an expert on trading, but when there's a massive sell-off, the way it works is like you have bids. So let's say you have 100 people, one person says I'll pay $1, next person says I'll pay $2, and it goes up to 100. So right now the current bid to buy is $100. So if I say I'm going to sell a stock, I sell it for $100. The next available is 99. The next stock sells for 99. Every time you sell, the value of your stock drops to the next. So there'll be people who specifically say, "Ooh, what's this? Jack Dorsey is selling Square stock at $50 a share. I'm going to put in an order to buy once it hits $40 because it's definitely going to tank. And then once it sells off and the price starts going back up, I'll have bought in at a premium." So now you're probably going to see a bunch of people moving to buy at lower prices. I'm speculating. And then the total value will drop dramatically. We'll see if it actually works out. I think it's cool that he's doing it.
Do you think the politics of it would help drive up the value of the company at all? I don't really know how that works.
It could be a. I mean, look, he's personally giving up a lot of money,
Yeah.
regardless of what the value of the stock is.
Yeah. It's his.
But
It's personally his.
how much stock does he have left in the company? Presumably a bit more, maybe even another 20 million shares. And how much is he hoping this might actually drive up the value? But I'll tell you what, man, I respect it. You know why? I've been thinking about a long time about a really great marketing game, like a marketing plan, where companies would compete to do the most social good. And imagine if, like, McDonald's will have like a ridiculous budget for a commercial, $1 million, $2 million. I'm like, what could you do with that in terms of social good? What if instead of doing a commercial where The Rock shows up in a parachute and breaks through the roof of McDonald's and then orders a Big Mac? I'm just being silly. What if instead of paying all that money, you took a cell phone and filmed yourself out, filmed yourself paying people's medical bills? And then, you know what I would do if I was a company, I was going to do an ad? I'd be like, for the next 30 seconds, you're going to watch us go around and pay off people's medical debt. And then in the last 10 seconds, I'll be like, this was a commercial for our product. Straight up. We did this. We spent $1 million paying off people's medical debt to get your attention because we want you to buy our cheeseburgers. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I prefer commercials where people are like, buy our cheeseburger because it's got beef and cheese on it.
Yeah.
But if you look at how much money they spend on stupid things like a zebra breaks through, the window, and then like Mountain Dew is exploding through the pipes and people are like, whoa, so they spend all that money. I would actually be more inclined to buy the product if they were like, instead of wasting all that money, we filmed an extremely low budget commercial, helped a bunch of people. We found some people who are, had lost their jobs and we helped them start a business.
Yep.
I'd be like,
and this is
There
not
you
an
go.
actor. I'm actually the CEO of the company.
Yep.
It's like talking about my
if
company.
if they had a 30-second commercial where the guy was like, I am straight up and unashamedly telling you that we dumped this money in an effort to get your attention because we figured what better way to get your attention than to literally spend money doing something really, really great that can't be ignored. And so, hey, it's a win-win, right? Bunch of homeless people get helped. You guys figure out we got a product. Like, actually, remember when I think it was KFC?
That's monetizing virtue signaling.
I mean, why not?
Hey, but why not?
Yeah, I know.
Remember when
it's like the best case scenario for virtue
you
signaling.
can make it good.
It's like we were going to spend money, but instead we helped a lot of people. Here's our product.
I kinda
Yeah,
like
why
that.
not?
Like,
yeah.
Remember, was it KFC was fixing potholes?
Mm-hmm.
Was
I
it
think
KFC?
It was, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh no, it was a delivery company.
Delivery
it was like
company?
a pizza company that
Yeah,
went around. I think it
Domino's.
was Domino's.
Domino's. They were like, we'll fill the pothole and then put our logo on it. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Good idea. Yeah.
That's great.
Pretty great.
Right.
The
I dig
socialists
it.
were
For
angry.
sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were like, why is the pizza, like they call it late stage capitalism, that pizza companies are required to fix this stuff. And I'm like,
Required to.
that's actually great.
Yeah,
Like
why?
they have it works.
That's a
like,
positive.
You walk outside and there's a Domino's thing on the street and you're like, that's
Yeah,
silly.
cool.
Oh, hey, they fixed that pothole.
Sweet.
Somebody got a flat tire and they show up next day and
Delivery guy.
Domino's is fixing it. They're like, hey, awesome.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Domino's.
We'll see how it plays out. I mean, regardless of what's going on, I think it's cool. Politics aside,
Yeah.
I guess I have another question. We can go a little bit longer. How much is too much?
Ooh.
That's
You
a
know?
good question. Like profit? Like,
Just-
how much does a human really need to make before they're like, I don't need to make any more money. Every single dime that I would have made after this point, after this amount, goes to charities.
Not even
Is
about
that what you're talking about?
Not
Like-
even about charities necessarily.
Or not necessarily
Because
charities.
why would I trust every, you know?
True. Giving it to the things that I want to do, like what he's doing with this, Google chart, you can see where the money's going. So,
Like Jack Dorsey literally couldn't buy anything else.
Hey, he doesn't-
I guess he could, because $1 billion. If you want to go to Mars,
yeah,
I guess you can give Elon $1 billion and get that first class ticket.
sure.
But there are things you can't buy, no matter how rich you are. There are limits. I don't know if the goal of all these billionaires is to like eventually get to the point where they can buy a rocket to Mars. I mean,
Have you
Elon
seen-
Musk is doing
Have you
it.
seen Altered Carbon?
Yeah, dude.
That's what they want.
Well, if Jack Dorsey was, he's like, I would like to download my brain into a chip that I can implant in other bodies and transfer my consciousness.
Yeah,
What?
You need
We can't do that.
you're gonna need a bit more than $1 billion.
probably.
Might not be possible, but
No. You're saying what would they need or want? And it's like that's probably the only thing remaining is immortality because they have everything.
But do people really want to be immortal?
Those people,
I don't know,
I
man.
feel like
I think it's a myth.
when you have power, you don't want to let it go. So greed corrupts, right? But I feel like not everybody gets corrupted to the point of that. Wanting to be immortal to have power forever.
Well, I was
Yeah.
watching something where they said that everybody who's young doesn't want to die. And once you get older and life gets harder and you're in pain,
Yeah.
then you're like, I don't want to be immortal. Well, that's because you're in pain. But if you were constantly 24, you'd
Exactly.
probably always want to live.
Yeah, exactly.
So doesn't Peter Thiel do like youth blood transfusions?
Oh gosh.
Does he
Is this
really?
an urban legend?
I have no idea.
I do not mean to impugn the integrity of Peter Thiel.
I
Just a
don't know.
story I heard.
Or
that,
that,
like-
what is that?
Can you look this up?
Adrenochrome?
No,
Adrenochrome.
I don't
That's
know
not a
that-
thing.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm not saying it is a thing, but that's
sounds similar,
That's
right?
the vibe of like
Yeah.
No, listen,
what
listen.
they would be after.
There's a story
to waste,
that
not waste
that
money, but
billionaires in Silicon Valley hire young people to exercise and be healthy and eat healthy, and then once a week they transfer blood. They trade blood.
wow.
So I have 4 articles here. One says Teal is very, very interested in young people's blood. The
Okay.
second says he is not harvesting the blood of the young. The third said he wants to inject himself. And the fourth said the FDA is warning against this.
Wow.
So I don't really know.
And maybe
All
so
over
they-
the place.
well, so the idea is that by in transfusing youthful blood, it actually repairs, like, your blood is now younger, and so it's healthier and it makes your body work
Does
better.
seem to make sense.
Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it's just an urban legend, but that's what people were always saying.
Yeah.
There's definitely
So-
something there. I don't know.
Maybe some people do want to be immortal. Maybe they'll eat healthy because of it.
I heard a quote.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
wonder what people think about Mr. Dorsey. Let's grab the super chats.
Yes, let's do that.
And then we will. We're getting close to wrapping up. We went a little longer today, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and follow us. Our names are up above our
There's me.
heads.
Yeah.
Instagram and Twitter.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, hit me up with some story ideas if you want. I actually tweeted out, what is your most conspiracy ideas you want us to talk about? Lots of people responded, and I appreciate you guys all hitting me up with that.
Yep.
But if you got any cool ideas, send them my way. A lot of people are sending me ideas that we've actually talked about already.
Yeah, man.
So that's okay. I just,
Scroll through our
keep
videos.
them coming.
Yeah, man.
Keep them coming, though. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to have to just pick a random spot because we are just completely slammed with super chats. So I'm just going to start from where I can. If I don't get to you, I apologize. Deck says, Tim, I'm a libertarian who leans right. The far left is becoming too hard to deal with. Yes, I certainly agree. Harry Toe says, Tim, I was watching your skateboarding on YouTube. You're pretty freaking good. Well, those are old videos.
No. He's pretty
He's
freaking
even better
good.
now.
Right. What I'm saying is I'm actually substantially
Whoa,
better.
I don't know about that.
I am
Humility.
substantially better than all of
I
those
knew where
videos.
I'm
this
just
is
kidding.
going.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Axel and
Video coming soon.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Axel and Janet, thanks for becoming members. Joseph says, the virus and the government reaction is not like a normal illness. We didn't react like this for bird swine flu, Ebola, or Zika, but the government did react to anthrax like this. Honestly worried. You're a local hazmat worker. Yeah, bird and swine flu weren't nearly as bad. Ebola is a very, very inefficient virus that struggles to transmit itself.
Right.
This is like an airborne 2-week transmission. This is like a scary, you know.
It can be asymptomatic.
Yep.
Paxton says, what about us? My belly aches and these land whales are slow, just the way I like. Wow. Logan Porter says, hey, Tim, been watching for a few years. Don't always agree, but I love your honesty. When it comes to fat shaming, I'll just say this. Losing over 150 pounds is hard, but not impossible. Semper Fidelis.
Super props.
Yeah. Matt says, everyone should be rooting for Elon Musk to get Starlink up and running soon. Even if the world ends, we'd still have internet spanning the globe for as long as they can keep orbit. That is awesome. But astronomers are really angry because you can see them in the night sky.
Yeah, they're messing up the instruments.
Kevin Ferguson says, off subject, watch the quartering video. Hope you're doing okay. FYI, I have 3 stepbrother. Appreciate it. RB says, hello from Kansas, Sir Tim of Beanie, Soy Jesus, and Miss of Whiterun.
Hello.
Andrea says, do you think the FDA should lift regulations preventing farmers to sell directly to the public? If this happened, farmers could stop destroying product, but there are safety concerns as well. Thoughts? I don't know. I'm not a farmer.
I didn't know that was a thing, but
yeah, me neither.
It makes sense. Why shouldn't they be able to sell to their neighbors or the people in need?
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to throw the product away.
Exactly.
Totally. Z Polar Bear says, BMI is BS. I did powerlifting, and no powerlifter body fat percentage is the most accurate. Yeah, BMI doesn't account for like ripped muscular people.
Yes, but how many of those people are there in the U.S.?
Right.
Most
people are
obesity.
overweight.
Yeah.
Super Free Education says, how cool is it that you have your own news show and can nerd out about anime in passing? Life is good, Tim.
Heck yeah.
Well, yeah, we just say whatever we want.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Everett Beatty says, it's okay to have yucks. You're going to need them soon. Grab the van and move on. The window for it won't last long. I think we'll be all right. Jeremy Swartz says, you are awesome, Tim. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nuke the ice caps. Okay. Says, some Chronobucks to get you through the Kung Flu. I've heard beanies are rated at N95. Thanks for the interesting content. I do not believe that's correct, but appreciate it anyway. Christopher Burke says, so are we just going to ignore Jussie's sister is Black Canary in Birds of Prey? The movie was plagued by the curse of MAGA country.
I know.
That's true. That was Jussie's sister, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Delamort, thanks for becoming a member. And let's see.
Thank you.
There we go. East Shore says, love your vids, Tim. I hate how YouTube never autoplays your vids. Any other vid, they write after the other except yours. They usually play a Fox News vid, and I'm not even subscribed to them. Yes. Everybody watches me gets sent to Fox News, and periodically MSNBC, and then everybody who watches David Pakman gets sent to MSNBC.
Really?
Maybe Airsoft and Fox News. Yeah.
It's weird.
It's on purpose. Speaker, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
JBP VFL says, check out the stories on the testing done with young and old mice. That is the reason of blood transfusion of young to old. Totally. Socialism is for figs, says, Trump campaign donated a lot of money to buy food for all the healthcare workers in New York. He really isn't that bad at all. He did that. You know, the campaign.
I didn't know that.
And it was apparently, they didn't announce it. A journalist found out about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they didn't even care to tell people.
I'm sure they leaked it. I'm sure they
They're like, let's not tell anyone and leak it.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, it's clever stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say anything. I didn't hear it from him.
Yeah.
So
Michael says,
something.
Whatever Dorsey's motives, I don't care. Doing good for selfish reasons is still doing good. I agree with that.
That's exactly what my point was right there.
T. Trinidad says, some need charities, but just donating money isn't sustainable because it doesn't create capital. What rich people can do is create jobs and self-sustaining work. That's true as well, yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Speaker says, appreciate your honesty so much, Tim. Thank you very much. And I think it's about time we leave these parts. So check back tomorrow, 8 p.m. We'll be live again. You can follow us, like I said, subscribe, notification bell, like button,
and
comments.
Share.
Yes.
Please share.
We rely on you, good fans of the Beanie.
Spread the Beanie word.
Spread the word of Beanie and Soy Jesus.
Beanie Bros.
So that people may come and bask in the glory.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out.
Have a good night.